Golan-Globus, we're back. There is a lot to talk about this week. I want to come clean. I thought Hate Week was over. Hate Week is very much
somehow it got
us.
more hateful. I'm full of hate right now.
It would be a good idea to inject Predator blood while we did the Predator episode. Yeah. It apparently backfired hard on us in multiple ways. And one of those biggest ways, the most infuriating way that we have been dealing with in the last, apparently, 10 days now.
And counting. As of now, Tuesday the 13th.
Yeah. So we went ahead, and we've been using an RSS feed to display our, push our content over to iTunes, and it has stopped working.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know that.
And we did not know that. Fortunately, one of our delightful...
thank you, Ian, for notifying us about this dilemma, because SoundCloud didn't, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. We're not going to kill the messenger. In fact, you're doing God's work by telling us. Because Murray was like, can you get on this case? And I went to the website, and it was just right there. And great. Hey, we're working hand in hand with iTunes. It's like they're coming out with that new iPhone. Did they fuck up everything? And they're going to make it all proprietary, some stupid bullshit. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It started when we released on Labor Day, our Tippy Tap.
Hunter.
And we check, the first day we like to check the numbers, see how we're doing. And I'm like, what the fuck? It was like nothing. Nobody had listened. And we were on a roll. We've been on a roll, guys, for months now.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, did we fall off? What the fuck happened?
Just like a forest fire, our numbers just keep going uphill.
Yeah, and I'm like, did they figure us out, Griff? What the fuck's going on? Why did we fall off? Why aren't they not listening? Is it because of the holiday? It's got to be the holiday.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, and it's a tippy. Our tippy taps are always lesser than our power episodes. That's why they're called tippy taps.
That's why they're
not
called
as
tippy
powerful.
Taps. Hello.
So we were ready. Look, our comeback episode is going to be the Predator, because some of you guys slept on the. I mean. It all balances out at the end. But you guys kind of we're like, I'll get to Soylent Green when I get to it kind of thing. So we're like, Predator. Nobody's going to sleep on Predator.
No one.
And then we see the numbers, and it's like half of what we normally get.
And it was like,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and then thankfully Ian sent me a tweet, and he's like, he's like, I listened to you on iTunes. And it just says rollerball. And I'm like, what? So like I said, then Griff said, I go, do you know what's going on here? Can we manually put it up?
I'm trying to look into it, but how RSS feeds work is that I don't really have any kind of account, anything with iTunes to just go in and say, hey, start reading this now.
Yeah.
So I am looking into other ways we can get it posted to iTunes. Maybe I can open some kind of account and manually put the file in place.
Because that's what SoundCloud's telling us to do. Well, you can do the work. We suggest you do the work.
I didn't. You saw something?
Yes, they said we suggest, on that thing where it says, our engineers are working on this.
Yeah.
And they're like, we suggest you manually, kind of yada. I don't know the whole terminology.
I thought I read through it and I didn't see anything that seemed applicable. But hey, I'll take a second look at it, because obviously we want people to listen to these goddamn episodes.
Especially the 3-hour Predator hate episode. It was fucking great.
Yeah, and now you're getting more fucking hate. Cause this is
not about this movie, because this movie is too generic to hate on.
We're going to get 3 minutes through in the top half here where we talk about the movie, because all I can say is preface this now. Just go ahead and delete everything you know about smoke jumpers from your brain right now, because you're going to learn everything about it in probably 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look like you're a lumberjack right now. You look like you could get out there.
Well, that's the only good thing that's happened in this past week. The weather has been nice.
Beautiful.
Nice 70-degree today. I can wear a jacket wearing weather is the best weather, Chris.
Let's just I'm a tennis man. So let's volley it back and forth here. One thing I hated, I was over in Chicago this weekend.
I got plenty of things to hate. But
City, great. Love it. Yeah. I didn't realize
you have a pizza casserole while you were
I did
out
not.
There?
I had a New York slice there. It was wonderful.
Did you have a hot dog with a pickle?
No, I wouldn't fuck around with that. You know me. I don't fuck around with pickles. Pickles and relish on the same dog? Why?
It's kind of
redundant.
Yeah.
A little redundant.
Yeah.
So what I thought was very funny is that, Chicago is the biggest Midwest city. Detroit, we're still not there. We don't even have mass transit.
We're the second biggest.
It's not
we are.
walkable.
Do you know that?
Is it really?
I think I heard that on Jeopardy the other day. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I think we are. Oh, maybe at one time. We might not be now because...
Yeah. It's probably for surface-wide or city-wide, it's probably just as big, but like for actual population and all that.
We're still near 1 million.
Yeah. So my complaint is more your complaint, but it's still a Midwest city. So you know what I saw this weekend, Murray?
Sandals.
Cargo shorts.
No.
Sandals.
Socks?
AEW shirts.
AEW? I've never seen an AEW shirt in the wild.
Yeah. A lot of cutlet ones.
Well, they're there every other week, so it makes sense.
It makes sense. That's the big indie crowd. So I hated seeing that. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see nothing but hot dog vendors. What about you?
Well, first of all, I'm dealing with a fucking annoying case of tinnitus in my left ear. It's like ringing. It comes and goes. Mm-hmm. So you've ever had that. It's fucking irritating as fuck. And of course, you look it up, the WebMD. You either get, it'll be gone in a couple weeks, or this might be signs of a stroke or aneurysm coming on.
Oh, yeah,
so
of
it's
course.
either so. If I'm not here next week, I had an aneurysm.
Right. What kind of episode should we do if you can't show up? Do you want me to just have an hour of silence maybe for you?
Stop the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you tell our audience that I died, or were you just like, whatever?
I guess I would put out an episode.
I know at least 3 people would care that I died.
Yeah. I think I would.
2 because they're not going to be able to go on any other podcast. But
I've been working very hard on my imitation of you, so I think I would try to fake it for a little while.
I would love to be alive to hear that. You go, what else? What else you got?
So this one's not so infuriating.
This is the airing of the grievances, by the way.
Yeah, we're airing our grievances because we want to get over it. We want to be done with... Hate Week was supposed to be over last week.
Yeah.
Fuck the Predator. That movie fucking sucked. At least this week, we got a sweet 80-minute nothing of a movie.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about eventually. So I get this nice textual message from my mom on Thursday morning. Your brother was at the emergency room this morning. He had really bad stomach pains. They think he may have had a mild case of pancreatitis. We're asking, me and my sister that is, what's going on? Is he back at home? Any other news? ER visit? Not good? Let's see. That's 6 hours later. Nope. Upper quadrant pain. It's a mystery. The Queen died. Charles is king.
You know what? That also reminds me why I'm so fucking pissed off about the Predator episode, Griff, because I'm glad you know. I didn't know this. England had a queen.
I found out when my mom texted me.
And apparently she died.
Yes.
So what happened?
King.
So what happened is, you know how like every Thursday we sell out Wembley when our episode hits. Thursday morning they got their own like G&G scarves. You know that England are into wearing scarves.
We
their
don't
loyalty.
even have team colors. They've just made up their own team colors. So there's all kinds of like little cliques of team colors. Yeah. No, Golan-Globus would have these colors, guys. We don't have official colors.
No,
maybe just black.
Just
for
black.
Hate. You know.
So they had to cancel the Wembley show because of this Queen lady.
Apparently,
so that even cut into our numbers. I mean, I feel like once again I apologize, Ian. Like as I know he was there.
Yeah.
I don't know what colors he wears, but I apologize. We will work on this. We have our best people. Mattingly is working furiously to get this shit back on iTunes.
Yeah. Oh, actually. I bet Mattingly. I lost him.
Oh,
First week of the NFL. Of course, I bet Mattingly. He's worth a lot. Stafford didn't do what I expected him to do.
Don't bet against the Bills. I told you that.
Never bet against the Bills. That's right.
I got one for you, Griff.
Okay, what's yours?
So, my car. It was making squeaky noises when it hit the brakes. You go, I just need some brake pads.
I want do it as if you're the Car Talk guys, man. Come on.
I don't know what that means.
Click and clack. The Car Talk bros.
I don't know that shit.
Oh, God.
If I knew shit about cars, I would have done it myself. So that's for grease monkeys. I'm too important for car work. But it's occasionally. It wasn't like constantly, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to get this taken care of because I'm going to be super busy work-wise for the next couple months. So I go up to the old Callahan Muffler and Brake right down the street from my house.
That's a hearty Irish name. That's where you go.
Always go there because I can walk home if I got to drop my car off.
Smart.
So I drop it off at 7:30 in the morning, thinking I'll look at it at least before lunchtime and I'll get up. No, they don't even look at it until like 2 o'clock.
Damn.
I had shit to do. I had work to do. So I'm pissed off about that. I'm also pissed off because I'm thinking it's just like, I thought, because I haven't had my rear brakes done in a long-ass time. There was just going to be the rear brakes, new pads, whatever. Because I think I got my front brakes done recently, like within a couple of years. No! They want to replace basically everything on the front brakes. $360.
Gee.
Now, I know, thanks to Brandon, our dollar's worthless because of inflation.
Right.
That seems like a lot.
We gave it all to the fucking college students, the delinquents who didn't pay their bills.
By the way, I still need to get my rear brakes done eventually, but because they didn't do the rear brakes, they did the front brakes. $360. Oh, and also, your lug nuts, they're bullshit. We stripped every single lug nut on every fucking tire. We're going to charge you $35 for a new set of lug nuts. Gee, thanks, fuckers. So $395 out of my pocket.
Jeez.
What's your grievance, Griff? You got any more grievances? What did you enjoy Chicago?
Oh, yeah, no.
One thing I did enjoy was I didn't have to fucking do any notes or watch a movie for the past week.
I know this is a weekend where we didn't have to do any movie. No. You didn't have to come over here on Saturday. We're 9 days rested. I believe that would be right.
Something like that.
Something like that. It felt great. Let's see.
Did you get any jet lag from that hour time difference?
Dude, the hour time difference is very real. When I came back yesterday, I thought it was fine. I thought I was feeling good and everything. I could not get anything done yesterday. If we tried to record yesterday, it would have been a fucking nightmare. I'm full of piss and vinegar today. Also, did you like the skeleton up front? Thing's badass.
It's a thing.
Oh, you don't like it?
There's somebody in
your
not in my neighborhood, but my
they do it better.
Well, yeah, they have it's like the old suburban women who dress up their little goose statue, but they dress up their skeleton. They're like 10-foot skeleton.
I've never seen one of those in the wild before.
Yeah, I have. I mean, whatever. Each his own.
Okay. I did. See, my vacations are determined by if I find a classic sci-fi
Your
novel.
lifestyle determines your death style, or something like that. That was a bad Metallica lyric.
Thank you. But my vacation hinges on if I find a classic sci-fi novel in a used bookstore. And just barely pulled out a John Brunner, I forget what it was called, The Time Something. So, you know what? It's a win. Got some flaming hot Funyuns out of the deal.
Well, getting us back to the movie, think of people who don't win, the Detroit Lions.
That's another thing to hate on. Our poor old Lions. Everybody's giving them the...
People go, I live in Cleveland. I live in another shitty town that team never wins. The Lions figure out a way to lose in spectacular fashion every fucking week. It's a new way. We've never seen that before.
Right.
So live with that.
Yeah. I mean...
Speaking of football, Griff, I don't want to talk about the Lions.
We're done.
We're done with the Lions.
Good.
Howie Long.
What did he even play? Was he quarterback?
No, he was like a linebacker or a tackle.
He looks like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's like 6'6" or something.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Wait a minute. Are we starting on the movie already?
We're in,
hey, everybody. There you go. Airing the grievances. We're done. 13 minutes. That's it.
Well, no one's going to listen to this episode, Griff, so it doesn't even matter.
We could
have aired the grievances. No, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll check the numbers tomorrow morning or whenever you... Tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Tomorrow's tomorrow.
Tomorrow is tomorrow, Murray.
You mentioned when we did our rollerball episode that the lovable character, the character that should have been the star of the movie, Moon Pie, reminded you of your Uncle Randy.
Yes.
Well, Howie Long reminds me of my Uncle Jim, and to the point where I think my Uncle Jim is really trying to look like him.
Yeah,
because he's not as big as Howie Long. But he's still a big guy. He was like 6 foot, and he had a muscular build, not gigantic like Howie Long. But for a while, he was even rocking the fucking brush cut flat top for a while. I think he was really trying to look like Howie Long.
Interesting. I mean, you're coming from a time where people had limited choices and everything. So maybe it was just he was put in the box and he saw Howie Long was rocking it. Thought maybe I will too.
Well, yeah, because see, what's funny is my Uncle Jim, he was an accident. So my grandma had him like in her 40s.
Oh,
so he's only 5 years older than my older sisters. He's more like kind of like a cousin to us than an uncle. So we had the same age difference between you and me. I have between him. It's like 13 years.
I have some family like that.
And so my Uncle Jim, they live out in the Grand Rapids, suburbs of Grand Rapids. And people who don't know Grand Rapids, it's a very boring, conservative town.
Very.
And so my Uncle Jim is like the guy we talk about who's like the cool guy. I'm using air quotes, cool guy in his group of friends because his friends are so lame. Like my Uncle Jim's lame.
Yeah.
But he's cool next to these guys,
like
know?
That. Yeah.
So, and I mean, my Uncle Jim's all right, but he also was one of those, like, he's got a bit of the jock bully in him.
Oh, nice. You got to lose that in high school or you're the fucking lamest person in the world.
Yeah, he's still... He wouldn't say that, but it comes up every once in a while.
Right. Well, sometimes you need other people to help hold the mirror to your own face, Right.
So, yes, he was a mini Howie Long.
I like that.
But Howie Long, Griff.
No sacks on his record.
No sacks on his record?
Your uncle has no sacks on his record.
I heard it as, because of my tinnitus, I heard it as sax, like saxophone.
Oh, no
and
saxophone?
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He doesn't play the... What does he play?
Trombone.
God, I thought he was...
The rusty trombone.
I thought he'd be a guitar man. So Howie Long, he had a long, infamous career, right?
Illustrious career. He played for the Raiders.
Raiders. Oh, shit. Was it Bad Boys era Raiders?
I don't know. I mean, he was known as like a badass. Like, you don't want to fuck with him. Fuck for Christ. He goes by the name Howie. He chose it. Call me Howie.
Wow.
You got to be a badass.
Yeah, really. Like, that's not a name that slaps. That's
if your name was... I think if my name was Howard, I think I'd go by Ward. I think that's what I would go by.
I feel like that was the era, too, where they had, like, the linebackers had the fucking huge
the Road Warrior
pads. Yeah, Road Warrior. And the giant neck guard thing that they used to wear. Yeah. I think I've seen some old cards of him, and that's about
I think he played most of his career in the 80s.
Yeah. So he's definitely a badass.
Yeah.
And I got to say, his actorial debut, not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the look. He looks like a dollar store Schwarzenegger. He's got the build. He's got the square jaw.
Yep. He had a couple lines there that he read while he was like walking away, and he actually did come out with some like charisma and look like kind of a badass.
I think that was his weak spot. His lack of charisma.
Oh, a lot of the movie, nothing. That one line, I thought he had it. That was it. But no, there's so many scenes in this movie where I was like, I don't give a shit about this guy. This is the perfect come down from Predator. I mean, you set it up this way.
I'm glad. Well, yeah, because it's the start of football season, so I have a football star, and California is on fire. So why not do a fire movie?
I was going to say, this is going to be a very informative movie because all of the fucking West Coast is on fire. And, I mean, we've got water shortages everywhere, and Howie Long is going to help us learn a little bit more about that. Smoke jumping.
You're going to learn what a Pulaski is.
I hate that word. I hate that.
Unlike a Polanski, which I guess is a tool you use to rape a drugged teenage girl.
I was going to say, who's going to make the Roman Polanski joke? Wait.
I just did.
Is it Roman, or is that the kid?
No, it's Roman Polanski.
Okay. Yeah. Who's his son that wrote about him, then?
No. You're thinking about Mia Farrow's son, Rowan.
It's too
Farrow.
Close. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Roman Polanski.
He didn't write. He wrote about some other molester, I thought.
Oh, okay.
There's so many molesters out in Hollywood.
Wow, weird.
But
maybe that's why it's on fire.
I mean, so they got some shit right about this movie, and that it's a 90s movie, but somehow it's 89 minutes. How did they do that?
How do you
You don't develop characters. That's how you do it, people.
As soon as I started this movie and we're having fun, they're jumping in, they're fighting fires, they're doing the Cosmo fucking trivia and everything, I was like, wait, who's gonna hench the firefighters? How do you make a villain for this movie? How do you feel they did
Pyromaniacs
that?
Should be. I mean,
occult pyromaniacs. The arsonists. Did you feel good about the villains? Did you feel like?
I mean, I it's good to see to William Forsythe, who specializes in he's like a sleazeball chameleon. He's Richie.
He is.
Anybody seen Richie? We did. He's in this movie, but you don't recognize him because he's a chameleon.
God damn it! And I'm sorry about the notes again. I could not recognize him. I was getting the names all wrong. It's a tough one. Tough one for names. Except
I got to bring it up. Here's a positive. We finally hit 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah?
If only we had 1,000 listeners. But I'm not going to complain. 1,000. That's it. That's the last big number because we're not going to be doing this to get to 2,000. It took me 4 years to get to 1,000. We're not probably going to be doing this to get to 2. Just let you know that. And here's your reward. Yes, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a Sensei Seagal movie.
Woo.
Get you ready for Schlocktober because that's going to be a horrifying movie unto itself.
Oh, yeah. There's so many horrifying Seagal movies. At least horrifying to our eyeballs because, fuck, watching him.
And yeah, this one I picked, he looks pretty rough in this.
I will say Howie Long's action moves, very of him.
Actionable?
Yeah. They made
you know what? But they didn't overdo it because to overdo it, he'd be like spearing people.
Yeah.
Shit like that. He didn't do that, did he?
He did spear the one guy.
Okay,
because he only got in one fist fight.
And he didn't use any football puns, did he?
Murray, I guess they were too deep for you, but all of his strategy for his team were played out. He said, go wide. No, do a break towards the sideline. So he was using some football terminology. I guess you don't follow John Madden like I do, though.
But he wasn't making it a pun way. He was literally just saying football terminology.
Yeah. No, he wasn't saying, like, I guess this guy's going on a hike.
Did he ever say, like, I got your 6 and stay frosty?
No, he was not a militant. God, if this movie were made 8 years later, it would have been full of, oh, yeah, I'm ex-military. Oh, we do have a character who was like, I'm ex-military.
Kind of. Let's get into this movie, Griff. Let's get it. Let's pull the Band-Aid off.
Before we fade.
I'm glad
it's a fucking frustrating day.
Yeah, I'm glad that if we were going to have trouble with fucking SoundCloud, this is the movie to pick because we don't care if anyone listens to this episode, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm almost like, how about are we going to postpone shit? 'Cause I don't want to waste. We got some shit planned.
Yeah.
Do we want to waste this shit if no one's going to listen?
I feel like we're going to take our first week off if we don't, if we're not able to get the RSS feed.
So there you go, people. Start petitioning SoundCloud. Get their shit together.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to throw the gold in the toilet.
We don't know who is the fault here. It could be iTunes or SoundCloud. Probably SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
It could be iTunes.
They're probably starting their own podcast, whatever.
No, that's what I mean. They already have it, but that's what I think it is. Is that with everything they've been doing, they're just like, I don't give a shit about SoundCloud. Who cares about SoundCloud rappers and podcasters?
Well, that's true, but
yeah, use our in-house shit. So that's not cool. If I have to upload our episode of 2 different fucking things,
so to get Griff to do anything is hard. We don't even do our, like I said, once every 6 months, Griff will just dump a bunch of episodes on YouTube and then just forget about it for another 6 months, even though we're on a roll.
It's my fucking joke, you know? It's like the whole, like, I was winning the election, and then there was this dump of votes. We were winning the YouTube, and then there was this dump of YouTubes, you know? It's just a joke. No one gets it. It's a terrible joke.
By the way, Helen from YouTube, fuck you. Fuck you still.
Hey, Helen, we're not done yet. Fuck you.
Now we're done. All right. Let's get to this trailer for Howie Long's debut and retirement from films. It's the great movie no one remembers from 1998, Firestorm.
When fire breaks out, there's a dedicated team.
Break it out, Chief!
Ready to jump right into the middle of it. But for their leader, this time the enemy isn't the flame.
It was a prison break!
It's the man who lit the match.
In case you haven't noticed, we're not firemen.
There's a girl with him. Take me down.
20th Century Fox presents Howie Long, Scott Glenn, Susie Amos, and William Forsythe.
It's Smoke Jumper! You still alive?
Firestorm.
There are 30,000 wild... I can't even... I'm sorry. Here's another grievance we had. I was having printer issues, and the printer got jammed, and I was like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to do our notes. I fixed it. It was fucking hard as shit, but then there was no toner, so I can barely fucking read our notes.
Do we need the extra light?
Seriously, we might need it. I'm having trouble with this. Okay. There are 30,000 wildland firefighters in the U.S. Only 400 are trained to parachute into blazing forest fires inaccessible to ground crews. Their elite men and women are called smoke jumpers. Why was this movie called Smoke Jumper?
Why wasn't it called a lot of things? They're really trying to give us the idea that we're going to learn a lot about firefighters here, and everybody, you should have...
I learned what a backfire is.
Exactly. We learned about backfiring because Howie Long told us once, like 20 minutes after he was doing the action. You'd think he would have explained it at the time he was doing it.
Why don't we just... Here's the thing. Forest fire, get rid of the oxygen. That's all you got to do.
Just snuff it out.
Yeah, just suck it up with a vacuum.
Vacuum, hello. Drop a giant ice cube on it. Come on. Donald Trump, our greatest president of all time, had the best ideas. Drop an A-bomb into a hurricane, that'll stop it. I mean, come on. Just go ask him.
It reverses the centrifugal force.
Exactly.
Make it go the opposite direction.
Right. I mean, I've heard that idea.
It's like an Australian toilet. They go the opposite way.
The Coriolis
I heard that's bullshit, actually.
Yeah, the Coriolis effect is not real.
Yeah. Who would make that up? What's going on with people?
Big science. This is why we have so many
You can't trust anything anymore.
That's why we have so many Brogans out there not trusting anything.
You know you can't trust? Howie Long and his smoke-jumping crew.
Because they're just goofs. We're watching this, and look, this actually makes sense. You're getting ready to
You got to stay frosty, Griff.
Are you talking frosted tips, or are you talking
well, there are some frosted tips later on in this.
But you're talking about, like, ready. Prepared.
Yeah, but cool and prepared. This brought me back. I don't want to bring up Predator again. This brought me back to the beginning of the good Predator when they're in their chopper heading out.
Oh, is that how they were acting? Like, kind of, just like, whoa, we're going to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse Ventura said he's a sexual Tyrannosaurus.
I like that. God, that was probably an ad-lib, too. Knowing Jesse Ventura.
You can get a promo.
That's right. So we're seeing our smoke jumpers. They're goofing off. They're on their helicopter.
They're staying frosty.
Clearly, they're riding into a fire or something. Yeah. One guy's doing a Cosmo magazine.
See, that's hilarious because before there was 5,000 genders, men didn't read Cosmopolitan magazine. So that's the joke, people. He's reading a chick mag.
Yeah.
And even Jesse, Howie Long's character named Jesse, a great hero name.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, you better give Monica, the woman in our crew, her magazine back or she's going to be pissed.
Hello? These things are black and white. Give the woman magazine back. He is a great leader. Stoic, chin, haircut that you could fucking write a novel on. Yeah?
You could put a level on it, and I bet it would be perfectly level.
Okay.
That flat top.
That'll work. Okay.
And he hit to this day, people. This is 20, almost 25 years later, still got that perfect. He looks the same. He
does
looks
look
great.
The same. With me and Murray were having a little conversation about women who cannot let go of their youth. Madonna, let it go. Just age.
I am happy though that I found out she is a listener. She just released a picture disc of her sucking someone's toe, and I was like, "Yeah, girl, that's my homegirl from Pontiac."
It's just like. My favorite thing about I've done this conversation too many times, especially during our sci-fi week there that we were doing a few weeks there. Identity is very real, and your brain is very real, and people now no longer look like themselves. So they went 50 years looking like themselves. And Gwen Stefani is another person I saw recent. I was like, you look like you had a face bolted on to look like, or face off.
We live in a culture that values youth. So yeah,
it's creepy.
I mean, just age gracefully, Madonna. What are you doing, Madonna? You got butt implants now, and it's like, just stop.
I saw a picture where people were like doing, you could see her face and everything. It was actually in the same picture, and then you saw her hand, and you could see like the flesh just like trying.
Well,
to
we
cling.
all get old. It just happens. I mean, I don't.
fine.
I'm immortal. I'm beautiful.
Right,
but
it's those $400 brake jobs you pay for.
Yeah,
that's code, everybody.
Yeah, I got some work done. Is basically what happened.
You went down to Callahan's and got some work done.
Yeah, I went to Switzerland where I get all my work done. I saw the computer zero.
The one Irish guy in Switzerland, Callahan.
Yeah. You found me out. I've been getting work done for many years now.
Hey,
I'm not
this is the
natural
episode
at all.
no one's going to listen to, so we're just going to air all of our secrets out.
Right.
Anyways, so of course they're smoke jumpers, Murray.
Well, because it's Cosmo, there's always a quiz.
Oh, okay.
And the quiz is always like, can you please your woman or something? That was the quiz.
You've ever been curious enough to do one of those?
No.
I've never been in the proximity of one.
I haven't touched a woman in so long, Griff. I don't even know. And so he's taking the quiz, and he's like, 48, that's good. And then he looks it up. What?
Wint looks it up for him. He snatches the magazine.
Wint, played by a guy. Talking about guys aging gracefully. Wint looks like a piece of beef jerky with some hair on it. Scott Glenn looking great and crusty.
If we're gonna talk about people, aging
he's one of those guys he's like a Bronson guy because he was on the Daredevil TV show. He was Stick. And he looked still grizzled as he did like 20 years later as he did in this movie.
Yeah, that would be at least 15 years later. Like 2013, I think, is when that came out. That's awesome for him. Yeah. Age. Naturally. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody. That was a clap for people aging naturally.
Yeah. Age gracefully.
Age gracefully. Don't do drugs and alcohol so hard,
That's exact, Griff. That's exactly it. It's people just don't get fucked up. That's all you got to do.
And maybe exercise a little
bit. And don't have kids, women. Don't have kids.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing we all agree on. Just don't have kids.
Don't have kids.
This human race is fucked, so just,
So he's like, Wint goes, 48 out of 100, you fucking loser.
And it says here you're the sexual adequate of a dining room table. That's a good 90s burn. I don't know
Was
why.
that Cowboy? I think that was Cowboy doing the quiz.
Yeah, it was Cowboy doing the quiz.
Yeah, okay.
So
there's Monica the woman, Cowboy. Was Sherman on this trip? Or no, he wasn't.
Sherman was not.
Yeah, okay.
We learn later why he's not.
Yeah.
But I do like this, Murray. What did I ask for last week? One silly character.
Oh, that's right. That's another thing they got right. There's a lot. Yeah, this movie's not a waste of time.
This is a movie that you would have gone to the theater.
If I had to do a 2-hour movie the way I was feeling yesterday, I don't think we'd be doing this episode. But thank you, 89 minutes.
Yeah. 2 days. Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, no, they come out on Wednesdays. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, unless you listen on iTunes, so they don't come out on Wednesdays.
That's right. But yeah, no, it was good to see that they just have one silly character in this movie, and they keep to those roles, and it's good because it allows him to be silly. I don't know. Anyways,
so they're ready because they're smoke jumpers, so that means they jump out of airplanes, right?
Right.
Oh, it would have been so great. You imagine Wings Hauser as fucking Jesse?
Oh, that would have been good. Wings Hauser, period. Right. Anybody.
He would have been so good. I mean, I like Wayne Forsythe's great, but him as the villain?
I know. That's immediately where my brain went to. He could have been Packard and been a good B villain.
Yeah, but no, you can't put him in hench role.
I would have accepted him in any form. That's if I had to, take a second alternative.
So they jump into this forest fire. Well, it's not as much a forest because there's houses and stuff.
Well, there's like the one rich person's house. It's like the Elon Musk house in the middle of nothing. And they're like, we live off the land, even though it's just full of electronics. They have a radio dish for their Wi-Fi and everything. That's corrupting their brain. We know this.
Yeah, 5G.
All that 5G just warping.
So there's explosions everywhere because cars explode.
Yeah, this is like a remote place where there's nobody, but there's one house.
There's a parking lot.
And there's a parking lot of cars here for some reason. So was this just like some kind of drive-through tourist forest or something? I didn't understand why there were so many cars.
I don't know either. Maybe they're having a party.
Oh.
But there's a house, and they're like, someone goes, my child is in the house. I left him because when the fire starts, I get the fuck out. Can you get my child? Went immediately. Fuck the kid. Too dangerous.
Yeah.
Let her burn to death. Probably the most horrible way to die. Let her burn. And then our hero Jesse's like, no, not on my watch.
Yeah. And
Hut.
He looks over at the window and he's like, I see a turkey hole. That's, of course, a football reference. A lot of football references. I know you said there wasn't. They're very discreet.
They were over my head. They were so clever.
Right. You got to watch Thanksgiving football to understand that reference. That is actually something Howie Long said. He was the one who coined. Matthew Stafford threw that one through the turkey hole. That's a gross joke.
Yeah, mine immediately went to turkey's ass.
Yeah.
But it's a football term.
Howie is a disgusting human person who fetishizes over turkey holes.
So, is there a name for that? Turkeying, I guess?
Gobbler.
Goblin. Wasn't that the phrase that Joe came up with for shrimping? Wasn't it goblin?
I thought it was. Something like that.
Yeah. Pigging out.
Pigging out.
When Joe Coleman sucks some toes, he's pigging out.
That's right.
He's not shrimping.
So anyways, we see this little girl in the window.
Do we?
Well, we see it through fucking...
I thought they just heard.
Jesse's eyes. I wish I had Jesse's eyes.
I wish I had Jesse's girl.
We look through his eyes. He sees through the fire because he fights fire with fire.
Yeah, this was a very smokeless fire, I want to point out. And don't they wear, like, oxygen masks and all the firefighter shit? Not these guys.
No.
They're, like... It's breathing in that fucking smoke.
I don't even think we see this at this point. We only see it like...
we paid to see Howie Long's face. We don't want to see him hiding.
Right. This is a Judge Dredd situation. Yeah. No one wears a mask. We need to see your face. We paid to see your face.
In fact, they don't have any gear when you think. They just have their Pulaskis, which are, by the way, that's what firemen call their axes, apparently. Pulaskis.
I hate it.
That's all they had were chainsaws and axes.
Yeah. So you got him.
Are they lumberjacks? What the fuck?
I have no idea. They are, and I was going to... Anyways, they are wearing Jinko jeans. The original Jinko jeans.
Well, it's 98, Greg.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So, yeah. If you look at anything from this movie, just look at their fire attire. Fire attire.
I like that.
And you will see that
they actually get dropped into Woodstock 99. That's why they're fighting those fires. People are being raped.
The only reason they're willing to save this girl is because the mom showed her boobs.
Yeah. So Jesse...
Yeah.
Grabs his trusty chainsaw, chops a tree down. Was he using it as a bridge? Was that what the point of he was?
I mean, Jesus is a bridge. I don't think branches are bridges. I guess this was some way to direct the fire. No, he didn't want this tree to fall on the house. That's it.
I thought
that was the plan.
I thought he was just using it as some kind of bridge to go across.
No, he was trying to make sure the tree didn't fall on the house because somebody actually, I think it was Wint when he followed along here in a moment. He said, "Why'd you do that?" That was it.
Okay, so that him and Wint run over to the house. They're searching everywhere. Little girl. Trees are falling and shit.
Yeah,
explosions
they
are
down
happening.
all the trees. Just that one for some reason.
Propane tanks exploding.
Oh yeah.
They find a dog. I think it was a Westie.
Yeah, a little Westie.
And they're like, Wint's like, let's get the fuck out of here. This kid's not here. And then our eagle-eyed Jesse, even though there should be smoke everywhere, no smoke.
Yeah.
He's with some little tootsies, and he's into shrimping.
You know.
He didn't know it was a child.
I don't know what the baby shrimps are called. Are they just
They're
called
popcorn shrimps.
Popcorn. That's why anybody who likes popcorn shrimp is a fucking
pedophile, yeah.
Pedophile.
Yeah. It's called like it is. You're a pedophile.
Shrimpophile.
Shrimp. So he sees those little popcorns, little kernels, and he's like, it's in a dollhouse.
Yeah.
And he goes, there shouldn't be little popcorn shrimps coming out of a dollhouse.
Right.
Opens it up. There's a little girl. They grab her. They head on out. They're running. They're running through that fire. And then an explosion happens, and an RV lands on top of the legs. It's very reminiscent of Wizard of Oz.
Very.
The opposite, though. It lands on his legs and not his body.
Oh, yeah, right.
So Wint is pinned.
Yeah.
And he's like, take the dog. Just leave me. He's like, no, everyone gets out of here alive.
Right. He's just like, we're at first to go. We're just going to go ahead and plow through here. No man left behind.
And they literally just pull him out. It wasn't even that hard.
Yeah, no.
There's a fucking RV on his feet. And he gets up and walks.
Right. And he's just like, it looks like we're fucked anyways. Might as well just, like, get you up here.
But that 5 seconds it took to pull him out was too much. They're surrounded by flames. So then Jesse, shake and bake. And we're like, what the fuck does that mean? Get out your fucking...
He does not pull out a fucking packages of seasonings and toss them all over his face to make himself delicious for the people who may be trapped here.
But he does a great impression of a baked potato because they pull out their aluminum tinfoil space blanket.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we knew a fireman. I'm really doubting the accuracy of a lot of the shit that happens in this movie. Because they just get under a space blanket. There's an inferno on them.
Murray.
And they're just like not even sweating.
Are you fucking kidding me? Do you not watch the live footage of the drones that are at the fucking giant fires happening on the west coast of our beautiful country
I don't care
right
about
now?
the west coast.
Yeah, so watch it burn. Like I do on.
So are you saying if we just wrap the forest in tinfoil, the fires would just put themselves out?
Look, rake the leaves like they do over in those European countries. Donald Trump told us this. Just rake the forest leaves. We don't rake the ground enough. That'll stop them. And then, yeah, we just wrap it in tinfoil. And whatever's left there that burns, I mean, obviously God wanted it. So we should give it to him.
All right, so Monica's on the other side of the inferno. She calls in the plane that drops the, I guess, blood because it was like red water.
Yeah, it was Danzig in the helicopter.
And he's like, "Look, we got it. Drop it on the road and on this house because Jesse's in there. I only got enough for fucking one jump. What's your Sophie's choice, lady?"
Oh, I see. That's why they gave the woman the choice. That's a beautiful metaphor.
Well, we
there.
all look. This is 1998 when women had a choice.
Yeah.
All right, we're pro-choice on Golan-Globus Theater.
This is true.
And her choice, save me.
Yeah.
So they say, fuck Jesse, drop the. She didn't know he had the shake and bake blanket.
Who would have thought Jesse was keeping the shake and bake in his blanket?
So they douse the fucking area with blood. Blood is a perfect suppressant of fire.
Right.
I thought the opposite because you think of hell and all that shit. You know.
I thought it was just blood and fire everywhere.
Yeah,
and
blood, fire, and death.
Yeah, death.
Great
Skeletons,
Bathory album.
like our skeleton up front.
Yeah, and so we're like, oh, then she's like, oh shit, Jesse's dead. You know, oh shocks.
I wish I had Jesse's life. Wait,
and
no, she doesn't.
Jesse wishes he had some water right now.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
But then, like a hero. By the way, this is the second movie in the row that had obnoxiously, almost obnoxious the way I pronounce obnoxious, bad, like, public domain sounding music. I hated the music.
I was going to ask you, I didn't notice on the first, but the second watch, I was like, oh, no. Some of this backtrack is just trash.
But somebody needs to backfire that backtrack.
What's your horrible synth called?
Full Moon production.
Moon.
It was a full blown Full Moon production.
I'm like Light Star. I know it's space themed. That's all I can remember though.
And we see right here Jesse walking out with the girl. We see the cute little Westie. He's like red now because the blood is
shaking
stained
it all
his
off.
fur.
Watching it. Shake it up. Boop, 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 boop.
1 year later.
1 year later.
Boy, Jesse's got the new recruits.
We need to make clear. Everybody came out of it fine.
Well, not everybody. Everybody came out of it alive.
Oh yeah, win.
Yeah.
So you think in this movie they would set the stakes that these fires really are fucking dangerous by killing somebody?
Yeah.
But like the Predator, there's no point to that. We don't need to think these are dangerous. There is real no danger. Real no danger.
Yeah. So Jesse's teaching the new recruits how to rappel down a tree.
Telephone poles.
Well, yeah, but they're standing for a tree.
Yeah.
And this is, and he's like, and just to make it, to like put no pun intended, lay a little fire under their ass.
Yeah.
He tells them, you better work faster because at 300 degrees, trees will explode. At 500, rocks will explode. And so this is where we meet our lovable comic relief character. We get just the right amount of them.
Yeah, second lovable character. Or, I don't know what part you're about to do here because we already have Cowboy. And we have our lovable fuck up now.
Yeah, Sherman.
Okay.
He falls, whoa, and he just like barely an inch from smashing his head on the fucking ground.
Yeah. Oh, well, first he drops his Pulaski's.
He drops his Pulaski.
And it lands right at Jesse's feet.
Yeah.
And he starts calling up, Sherman, is this your Pulaski's? You should never drop that. I know men who sleep with their Pulaski. They carve their name into their Pulaski. They shave their pubes with their Pulaski's.
They fucking put their flat top with a Pulaski.
How do you think I get such a fucking straight cut, Sherman? Pulaski's.
It's just a Pulaski. You love adding an extra syllable. I've noticed that.
I'm a big fan of syllables. What can I say? That's why I'm terrible at Wheel of Fortune.
So he demotes Sherman to the ground and pound crew. He's just like, you're not good enough to be a smoke jumper yet.
Yeah, you're always dropping your Pulaski.
And then he pulls off his fucking hard hat, Sherman, and we see that beautiful 90s fucking parted down the middle.
Oh, yeah,
hair.
Floppy down to, like, just past his ears.
Yeah. Hated that.
You loved it.
So now Wint comes around. He's retired.
It's 1 year later.
Doesn't want to retire, but he's got to because he's a cripple because of that fucking having to save that girl. And Jesse's like, man, why did I save that girl? Like, you don't have a job now. He literally says, he's like, I regret saving that girl.
Right, because the two of them are going to walk off. Everybody in the crew. We have the same crew. Monica,
Cowboy, Strawberry,
Vanilla, other guy. You know, the
black guy. I don't want to say, you know what they call him.
Yeah. And so everybody's clapping, Wint's visiting them and everything, and Jesse's like, oh man, I can't fucking wait to talk to you. I wish I didn't save that girl. I wish that wasn't actually a line in this movie because that's fucked. Yeah. Like, Howie Long, I want to be a hero. Hey, I wish I didn't save that little girl so your old ass, wrinkly, I have nothing to do with my life.
You should be retired 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. But he can't jump anymore because his legs are all crippled and crunched up.
So he's retiring the chief hood. And he's going to hand it, of course, down the mantle to Jesse.
No, he's not. There's a new guy coming in.
There is?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. And like they're like, I hope he's better than you. He's like, nobody's better than me, kid. You know. Yeah. Jesse's he wants to get his hands dirty. He doesn't want to be the guy that's in the office. That's that's Jesse's character arc.
He's still got that.
He's a hero.
A little bit of taste of death. He wants that danger.
So they're just shooting the shit, and then Wint, he pulls out some like tinder that he found. He's like, I found this in area D12. Little Detroit joke there for you if you remember 20 years ago.
Yeah, I do. Purple Hills.
How powerful Eminem was that he got his loser friends like a platinum album 20 years ago.
He's the original Young Bucks.
Right. And like D12 areas bone dry. I'm just telling you that. Nothing suspicious about them. Just letting you know. You might want to pay attention.
That's why we're supposed to know about D4?
Yeah.
D12, excuse me? God, I hate that.
And by the way, I heard about that surprise party. You know I don't like that shit. Surprise party? I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Wink. All right, they go inside to their office.
HUT, HQ. Just call it HQ.
Then Wint.
Yes. Clearing off his desk, putting everything in his box.
Right. He's got the fucking lamp. He's got a stalk of celery. I don't know why that was there.
Because it's mostly water, like you said. He just
that's it. That's firefighter's favorite vegetable.
Except
celery.
for Jesse, who we learn later hates water, and that made me go ugh. Because it's like, I'm a firefighter. I hate water. I hated that, and I hated it.
So he's got a frame picture because of course Wint worked with Jesse's dad, and of course Jesse's hero dad was a firefighter, a smoke jumper.
Here he is with hair. Remember your dad with hair, little boy?
And Jesse just wipes a tear. He hates it because his face is getting wet from a tear.
Yeah.
But he's just like, yeah, my dad was the greatest, you know. And
do you ever think about your dad, son?
All the time. You can have that photo. I have one back at home.
So there's a fire.
The plane's just starting up, and we're just like, whoop, time to cut you off. Get out of there.
Yeah, apparently. Was there a lot of fires in Wyoming in the 90s?
This is Wyoming?
Yeah. This is Wyoming. This is in California.
This is Wyoming?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You see Dick Cheney shooting someone in the face in the background.
You know what? I didn't notice that. I see so many old white people shooting people in the face.
Now we're in a car with some sweaty Paul Heyman-looking motherfucker talking to someone on a phone.
He's got baseball in the background. I heard that. I don't know who he's listening to in Wyoming, though. There's no baseball teams there.
There's a minor league team, I'm sure, right?
There is well, there might be. I don't think
Wyoming Cheneys.
Yeah. Nice. You know
the Quail Shooters.
There's
You remember the Quail Shooters? This is my favorite minor league team.
Let's go with that. That's why Dick was out there. He's going to go see the quail shooter.
If you get a history lesson on top of a great movie.
Geographical lesson, too.
Yeah. Wyoming. It's somewhere in America. Like fucking... Well, your fucking Ann Hageman is going to be the next congresswoman, I think.
I'm not proud of that, Murray. I'm trying to forget.
Well, then burn that fucker to the ground. Burn her district to the ground, dude. It's dry as shit out there, apparently.
Yeah, I took some lessons from this movie, Murray. God damn it!
So this, he's being very vague. So they're not going to give the movie away right off the bat. So he's like, "Are you going to do that job I paid you for?" And he's like, good. All right. I'm on my way to the state pen, the Wyoming State Penitentiary. They actually say Wyoming State Penitentiary.
Damn it, I missed this. Ugh.
All right. This is where we meet our villain played by William Forsythe. Shay.
You need to really help me with this because this is where
I will. All right. I will explain this. There's some douchey rockabilly Nazi character named Davis, who's the guy who gives the books. There's always some guy in a fucking prison who's giving books out.
Yeah,
nobody reads in prison.
If I ever go to prison and there's not a guy bringing me books, fuck that.
So he's talking to our William Forsythe, Shay, looking beautiful rock star hair, beautiful flowing blonde mane, looks like a fucking less creepy Greg Allman.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got the goatee, the blonde goatee. And he's like, Davis, like, all right, and then they make sure to point out Davis has like a Nazi tattoo on his neck, which at the time was actually kind of weird. Now everyone has a neck tattoo for some reason.
I hate that is no longer weird because I just think neck tattoos are not.
Yeah, especially on a woman, you're like, she's trouble. I won't deal with her.
I go as far as to say anybody.
I mean, well, anybody who gets their face tattooed, you have mental issues.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
So, yeah, he's just like, all right, so this is all right, let me break it down. This is the plan.
Please break it down.
I see you're confused.
How far were the bars apart?
3 inches.
Interesting. Did he have his own pisser in there?
Of course he did.
He did?
He showed it. He threw his golden locks into it.
Oh, my God, that's right, he did.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh,
so Davis explains everything. He's our exposition character. All right. When they're really short on staff for these fires, they will let convicts out work. I guess it'll work off some of their time, but they only use short timers. They don't use lifers. And Shay is a lifer because he's a bank robber, and he killed 17 people in the process of robbing this train. He robbed a train.
That's what happened. That's old fucking school. How old is this guy?
He's just old school. He likes to do it old school stuff.
Oh, wow, okay.
While Davis is saying that, we're watching Shay. He's an artist as well. He's drawing, and he's drawing the tattoo, the Nazi tattoo on Davis's neck. We're like, why is he doing that?
I thought they were part of the same gang. That was honestly where my brain went.
No, because we'll learn that Shay is using Davis.
Yes.
Because Davis is like, and he rattles off the names, Packer, Wilkins, Loomis, and Karg. They're in on it. So okay, so like I said, what's his face? Shay is in for a bank robbery. What the plan is, as far as Davis knows, is they are going to escape and get the money. You're right, Griff. This is totally confusing. Because why would Shay? Because he doesn't. Because he actually points out, Shay, you're a lifer. You're not going to be able to get on this fucking crew. What are you going to do? He's like, don't worry, I got it all figured out.
So this is Predator last week was all coincidences.
Yeah.
This one, at least, Shay has things planned out.
Right.
He's not revealing them to us yet.
He's playing his cards, holding them in his chest.
Close to his chest. Yeah. And, of course, he's playing Roman Polanski.
He's playing no-huddle offense now, if you want to.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Bring back to a football reference. Oprah's loving this. He's
learning
playing some Roman Polanski poker.
Right.
He's cheating.
And
he's a creep.
Well, I don't know if you'd call what he did cheating. It was a crime, basically, what Roman Polanski did.
Well,
he can't cheat because his wife got chopped up by Charles Manson's crew.
What, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Fucking Christ.
Didn't you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? That was all it was all about.
Was it?
Yeah. Manson is in the movie, for fuck's sake.
I did not gather that. I need to rewatch the movie, apparently.
Fucking the chick, Margot Robbie plays, what's her face? Oh, I'm blanking on her name. Roman Polanski's wife that got killed.
No shit.
Yes.
I'm so serious.
Sharon Tate.
I think I was half in and half out.
Well, they fucked. I mean, obviously, in the movie she lived. In the movie, she lives.
Oh, okay.
Roman Polanski's in the fucking movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. For fuck's sake, not someone playing him. Obviously,
I gotta watch it again.
It's a great movie.
I liked it, but apparently I missed a lot of it.
Yeah, you missed the whole point of it.
All I remember is
it was revisionist history because that's the new thing that Quentin Tarantino does because he killed Hitler in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
and now he saved Sharon Tate in this movie.
Yeah. I think what happened is all I remember is the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio leaning forward with the beer in his hand going,
yeah, that's overdone. Stop that, people.
Yeah, please.
So he's like, don't worry, I'll get on it. So he let these guys in on the fact that he's told them 20. He's at 31 million. We'll learn in the next scene, but it's 20 million, and he's going to split it up evenly.
37.
Okay, but he didn't tell me. He said 20 million.
I'm sorry. I just. When I was watching the movie again today, I had to see the fucking tagline for the movie, and it says 37 in it. But yeah, he tells him 20.
So it wasn't like the Hunter bank robbery where it was down to like the cents. Go listen to that episode. Don't sleep on it. Swing out. Wings Hauser's in it.
Beautiful episode.
So he's like, don't worry about it. I'll get, you know.
There's some things he says, leave that to coincidence. Maybe there's a godmother out there for us. But then there's the other things. Because he's like, hey, we got the guy who started the forest fire. That's cool. How are you getting out of jail, though? Oh, don't you worry about that.
I got that all wrapped up. So he leaves. As soon as he leaves, the guard goes, Shay, your lawyer's here to see you.
I'm going to have to call Harem Mary on that one.
So they go, Harem Mary?
Yeah, I meant to say Hail Mary.
Yeah. We're tired people. So he goes to the meeting with his lawyer, and the lawyer... Well, isn't his lawyer because it sounds like it's the DA because he's like, I'm going to cut you a deal.
I couldn't 100% figure it out. I thought it was his lawyer, but it was definitely somebody in cahoots with him.
He's like,
that's
look,
what we can.
This is the second exposition character because he's just there to give the details about Shay.
Right, and this is our nervous character on the phone listening to the Wyoming
quail shooters
baseball game.
It could be the smoke jumpers.
It could have been the smoke jumpers.
I guess Wyoming's known for its forest fires.
Exactly.
Is that where Yellowstone is? Where the fuck is Yellowstone at? Is that in Wyoming?
I think it's in a few states, actually. I think it's big enough where it actually occupies a few.
Are you into camping?
I could be, but I'm not into
that. Is like to me the whitest thing. I've never met anyone non-white who wanted to go camping.
Yeah.
That's the white hiking and camping. White people love that shit.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's very trendy with people my age, too.
Well, they all love it. Right?
But they like to do the style where you bring every single electronic you have with you.
Of course, you can't.
Yeah.
I'll quote my ex brother-in-law said one time because he grew up in the Seattle area where everyone loves fucking hiking. My sister said it's such a pain in the ass dating because everybody wants to go fucking hiking on the first date. She's like, I don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
So he was like, and I agree with him. I can enjoy nature from the window of my car. I can just see it there. I don't need to go in it. And I agree with him.
Yeah.
But so the law, I think it's the DA because he's offering him a deal, and Shay's like, "I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. You know, I'm not taking your deal because they were going to chop off some time." Because we're thinking, I think, as the audience, because we don't know all the details.
Right.
That's how he's going to get on the short-term work crew. He's going to admit his where the money is.
Yeah.
And then the fucking exposition character number 3, the prison guard, $37 million.
There you
know,
go. Just spoon feeding it to us like hungry little baby birds. And we'll talk about baby birds later.
Right, and we needed to be spoon fed because this was a rough fucking episode.
I mean, again, I asked you earlier, how do you build up a villain for firefighters in the forest? You can't just do an arsonist or something. You gotta fucking make it interesting.
So he's like, look, all right, I need you to sign this paper to tell you that I gave you the offer. And he puts the paper in front of our boy Shay.
Then he puts a little label sticker on it
right.
that just so happens to have lit on it, the match is lit. Which is exactly how I describe every Young Bucks match. It's lit.
Cut to, we're out in the forest. We're out. I recognize that area. It's D12.
It's D12.
Yeah.
Because you recognize the Purple Hills.
Right. And I would love to mention some of the guys in it. I don't remember any of the guys that were involved with D12. I know one got shot. I remember that. There was a fat one. I don't remember who he was.
I was trying to remember the one guy who got shot because we've seen posters from him, billboards and stuff, honoring him, but I don't remember his name.
So we see a guy, he's like lights a match.
Yeah. Well, it was a cigarette. He huffs on it, and then it's surrounded with matches.
Yeah, a big bundle of matches with a cigarette in the middle. And so it's a timed release. This guy knows what he's doing, apparently. And he gets in his car and just drives away. And then we see the cigarette burned out and then set off that bundle of matches, and the tinder goes up.
He's fighting Forrest with fire.
So now we're back in the prison cell with Shay and that beautiful flowing mane of blonde hair. Greg Allman, people. He's no angel. And he's going to show you his tattoo. Because he starts chopping that hair off. We see there's a display, Fireman Illustrated magazine. We see a sexy fireman calendar on the wall. I don't know what that had to do with his research, but maybe he's working on the abs. I don't know.
And then we see Maple Syrup Monthly next to that. And I was like, wait, what is this? What is happening here? I mean, can I spill the beans on this?
I don't know what you're going to say, so go ahead.
Apparently, he's trying to get in the character of a Canadian firefighter.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
So that's why the Maple Monthly.
Then we just see this beautiful blonde hair just go in the toilet. And we're just like, man, this guy's really serious about wanting to get out. He's cutting his hair. I would never cut my hair. If I had hair like that, I'm staying for the rest of my life in jail.
Even if it covered your ears, you're like, fuck that.
Well, I would love to have that hair touch my ears because it's just flowing. It's like silk just touching, caressing your ear.
That's good. That's good. And the next morning, we have a chopper just going around. Moose
Heart.
He had a little moose.
Moose Heart. That was his thing. It said Moose Heart.
Okay.
Andy, the Native American chopper driver.
Yeah, and he had little moose horns on his.
I didn't notice that.
Antlers.
I just noticed it said Moose Heart.
Yeah, it did. And then he had little moose.
Of course,
antlers.
he's a Native American. It has to be a name like that.
Of course it does.
And he's a chopper guy that drops off our dudes. Then they got a smoke jump. But no, he doesn't like people jumping out of his chop.
No, he really doesn't. But he's just kind of doing surveillance today.
I hate to go back to the beginning of the movie, but this irritated me. The scene where they're jumping out of the plane was so obviously a grounded plane with them just jumping on a mattress. Yeah. It was so bad. Yeah. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of Howie Long just sitting in a grounded chopper and they're filming it from the ground level. It's so obvious.
I can't wait to talk about the ping pong scene.
Oh, that's a great scene.
That's a great scene.
That's a great scene.
So he's just doing surveillance today, and
he notices D12 is on fire.
Yeah, he's like, D12, the beautiful purple hills, they're on fire. And he's like calling it back in. And Cowboy, of course, like, woo! We got a wild Bronco out there. Let's get out there and sack that Elway.
And to let you know why he's Cowboy, he wears a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
If you're confused why they call him Cowboy.
What I mean, all the team here is affiliated with a football team. So you got Cowboy. Monica is referred to as Eagle, and then you've got...
Did she? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and then, of course, you got other guy who was, like, kind of near Monica, Monica sometimes.
Yeah, he was other guy. That was his code name.
Moose. Guy. We won't get into his code name because they retired that name.
Moose Knuckle was his code name.
Well, that's not a football team. You can think about it. We can't say the name.
I didn't even know where you were going.
They're the Washington football team, a.k.a. the Commanders now. Oh. But they had another team, and that was Moose Heart's name.
Sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
It was 98 people. We could say that.
We could say that back then.
We could even say he's sitting Indian style in his chopper.
That's right.
Can we do that? Can we say a Native American is sitting Indian style?
I don't know if we can.
It's a conundrum for you. So, all right, then Jesse just smirks Cowboy because they're like, that's the county's job. Why is it the county's job? I don't know. Maybe because it's not that dangerous. They only send the smoke jumpers in when it's fucking super dangerous.
The trees.
We learned from my really bad opening reading of that paragraph.
Yeah, I think he does kind of like a Negan thing where he talks to his Pulaski and he's just like, "Hey, buddy, what do you think about this?" And the Polax is just like, "Nah, not good enough for me."
Hey, remember Davis, the vaguely Proud Boy-looking rockabilly dude in the prison?
Yeah, he was saying Jews will not replace us.
Yeah, she's shaving, and we see a guy who looks very eerily similar to Davis jump behind him. Did he have a shiv? What did he have, a pen? What the fuck? He stabs him in the throat, I know that.
Well, come on, we're in prison here, so of course it's a shiv, and it looks like he made it out of his hair. There's a bonding.
That's a great use of your hair.
Yeah,
recycle, people, recycle.
So we popped off the tag of his prison attire because that tag can be kind of hard, And what he did was he solidified it.
It's illegal, isn't it? Well, that's mattresses.
No, that's mattresses,
Okay.
yeah. You can rip off the tag of your clothing.
Okay.
So he ripped that off, and he wrapped some of his hair follicles in there, and then he smeared some shit on it, and that forms a perfect blade.
Perfect enough to kill Davis. He stabs him in the throat, grabs his ironic nerd glasses. He was a hipster, not a Proud Boy. And apparently he just gets away with that. Like, he just leaves the body in the fucking bathroom of the prison. They don't, like, stop. They don't, like, shut everything down after murders happen.
Think about this. I mean, prisons have to be like a high school. In high school, I don't know about you, I knew the bathroom that people frequently very less often.
Frequently less often.
I got myself in a trap there. But yeah, there's the bathrooms frequented less often. And I think that's what he did here. He's like, I know that rockabilly prick. He likes to go to the quiet corner to take his shits because he's a loud shitter.
Right. Well, there was a lot of noise because Tango and Cash were taking a shower at the time. So every fucking shower is running.
It was foggy as fuck because the shower had been running for hours.
Yeah.
Because that shower never stops.
So that's his plan. Shay's going to impersonate Davis.
Right. And he's like, but who's going to be me? I'm going to be you. Closes his eyes, takes his glasses.
Did he just fucking Chuck Norris ASMRM that guy?
He did a little bit of...
my identity be your identity?
God damn it.
So now we see him getting loaded onto the bus because this isn't a dangerous enough fire for smoke jumpers, but it is dangerous enough that they need to sublet out, subcontract the prison. So they're getting out there.
We see him loaded onto the bus and everything. His tattoo, perfect. He drew it out himself, perfect.
Yeah, on his neck. He had to look in a mirror to do that.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
Amazing. So we know that Shay is incredibly skilled.
Right.
Loaded onto the bus. We've seen, like, the goons pass by and everything. We see a nervous guy.
Right. That's Wilkins.
We see a big pumpkin-headed guy.
I don't know which one that is.
The gnarly dude who fights
Karg.
Which is a wrestling name, and he does say he likes wrestling.
He is a wrestler.
Yeah.
In another lifetime, he was a wrestler.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he mentions that.
Oh, okay.
Karg. I don't know the actor's name, but he was the main Viking in 13th Warrior, which we're gonna do sometime. We're gonna do that with Jack sometime in the future. Great Viking movie. And so he's like a big Swedish-looking motherfucker. He's got the awful parted down the middle, fucking floppy hair.
Yeah, he looks like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber, kind of. Yeah. He's got that frayed, fucking awful hair.
We meet Loomis, who's like a middle-aged, like schlubby-looking guy.
They make jokes about this next character to talk about being the sexual assaulter or full-on rapist.
Yeah.
And he looks which character are we doing? We're doing Wilkins. But this guy looks creepy as fuck. He's got gappy teeth. He's got gnarly face. They picked out a good crew here. Right. And then we get to Packer.
Yeah, Billy Joe, the Fudge Packer.
And
he walks up. He like I said, he walked right. He walked right off the Woodstock '99. Went back in time to 1998 to go to prison.
Yep.
After he got done raping somebody. Because hey, watch the documentary. It happened.
Yeah,
we have a friend who was there. Pete was there.
Pete was there.
I don't even know what he did.
I don't want to know either.
But yeah, he
would definitely be wearing one of the visors without the visors flipped upside down, frosted tips, cargo shorts with.
Speaking of frosted tips, Packer, never mind, he's a rapist. I was more offended about that he had a bowl cut with frosted tips.
If anybody has ever...
How did he get Janko jeans in prison? Is that
I
possible?
have no idea. I didn't think he must have fashioned them himself.
I mean, you think they take the chains off of those pants.
Right, exactly. Yeah. There's so many forms of Janko jeans. But yeah, he had the chain version, giant pockets down to the ankle. Amazing. How did he get away with that? You could hide so many things in those pockets. And we know this because I survived high school. I never had them. They're very expensive.
So, Karg.
But I want to say,
okay,
if you've ever watched The British Office, he looked like the Dwight Schrute comparison. I think his name was Gareth. That's who he looks like. Yeah. Like, he's gaunt in the face. He's got that bowl cut. It's terrifying.
Frosty. He stays frosty.
He stays frosty all the time.
Right. So Karga's like, hey, you're not Davis. And he's like, Shay, always cool. Always keeps his cool. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not Davis. I'm the guy that came up with this plan. Did you know? And he's like, don't worry. I'm going to get you $5 million. They're like, what? We were supposed to get $4 million. Oh, I guess Davis was fucking you guys over. And that kind of makes them, they warm up to him. They trust him now. And he's like, well, where is Davis? Oh, he's in the infirmary with a pain in the neck. Wink.
Yeah, everybody get it? Because he stabbed him in his neck with the little poop tag knife that he made?
And he's just like, look, we're going through with the plan. I know everything. You're all going to get a cut of the $20 million. You're all going to get $5 million.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I guess it would be $25 million because I think there's 5 of these guys.
Yeah. He's, of course, playing loose with how much money there is available. He has already promised them more money, so they're all ears. They're just like, fuck, we're going to get out of prison and make millions of dollars?
Yeah, so they immediately trust him. It was a perfect plan.
They're not going to like it when Biden's IRS enforcement comes after them.
Right, because they're going to go after the millionaires.
That's it.
Not us people that make, less than $30,000 a year.
Exactly. They go straight for the inmates who recently escaped from prison with $1 million.
So now, hey, we haven't had a female lead yet. Well, now we do.
Now, Monica wasn't good enough because she barely gets 2 lines in this movie.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Packer.
Yeah.
Packers.
Yeah.
I told you, like, everybody's named after a
well,
football team.
yes. Also, he didn't say, I refuse vaccinations.
He did say that.
I do my own vaccinations.
Yeah, I'm inoculated, is what he said. Wait, is that the pregnant one?
No, you're right.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
So we meet Jennifer, who is a wildlife photographer specializing in birds.
Yeah, she's doing good work, too. She's got the good old fucking film camera out there. She's got it all staged up. She happens to know where this one bird makes its weird little nest in weird little tree.
And she's taking her pictures, and then she feels a little heat on the back of her neck. She turns around. She's in D12. There's a forest fire happening.
Yeah, she was looking, because she's got she's got a mic set up so she can record the bird noises and
picking
everything.
Up predator purrs.
Yeah,
that's a predator. It's not a pigeon.
She even recognized predator, and she wasn't afraid of it. She was like, "Oh, predator, another Predoridus, Colorbidus."
Because they're honorable. She's not proper prey.
Right, she's not proper prey. They don't want her spine.
Right,
she
could be pregnant. We learned that they don't kill pregnant women.
They don't.
Predator too.
Exactly. But she had the little meter so she could see the readout on her mic and everything, and she started seeing the fucking what's it called? The beat for Purple Hills. And she was like, what? What's happening? The fire. Because when you burn up the Purple Hills, it's like burning a CD. It's playing the song. Purple Hills.
Do you get high off the fumes of a Purple Hill?
Yes. Very high.
So she hops on her mountain bike and heads out. She's like, I got to get out of here. I'm in the middle of a forest fire.
She didn't even have a fucking... She had a basket bike. I know, but I'm saying,
she's a girl. She had a girl bike.
She didn't even bring the proper bike to this little photography session.
Well, I don't know. Maybe her daddy didn't teach her about bikes.
She did have pigtails.
So the county arrives in their bus. They're ready to start putting out some fires.
This is our inmates rolling up. This was part of Shay's plan. He was going to be on this bus to fight the fires. And there we see our boy, our ground and pounding boy.
Sherman.
And
Mr. Peabody.
Do you remember what Jesse's line from it was? You can't fly the skies until you pound the ground.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's pounding that ground. All right, we're back to the Smoke Jumper HQ. And that little rascal cowboy. He's giggling like a schoolgirl. He's like, I can't wait. 'Cause he's in the middle of a hot fucking ping pong match with Jesse. Jesse had to relieve himself, so I got to drain the vein. And he's like, I'm going to get him this time, Monica. He's not going to know what's coming.
So we see that he's reaching into a toolbox full of what looks like ping pong balls, but there's explosive...
Or King Kong's balls.
Or that. And there's
You heard that whole joke? That's such a classic 5-year-old joke.
What is that?
King Kong's balls. You ever heard that joke?
No.
It's a long joke.
Oh, ping pong King Kong?
King Kong's ball. It's a joke.
Is it like a play on?
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna leave everybody hanging. I'm not gonna tell you the joke, but if you were 5 in 1979, You were laughing your ass off at that joke.
Murray remembers nothing about being under 8 years old except the King Kong ping pong joke.
Yes. And I'm not going to tell it to you.
You're going to do
No.
One of these days when E! Magazine comes to interview us, you're going to be like, fuck, my childhood was great. Have you ever heard the King Kong ping pong joke?
Trust me, it's a lot funnier than the scene we're going to describe for you.
Anyways, so he reaches into this toolbox. We see that there's like ping pongs in it, but there's all these stickers saying explosives, warning. And he takes it out. He slips another ball under Jesse's paddle, and then he hides the real ping pong ball in his pocket. He gets back to the table. All right, Jesse, I'm ready to finish you off. It's 30 love, dog. You're not going to beat me. Oh, okay. He does nothing.
I got lost. I can barely read our notes because the fucking toner is so light.
So Jesse gets his paddle ready, and he's coming in for the serve, and he's like, oh, shit, is that smoke over there?
And where there's smoke, there's Sherman. No. So...
Is that in the King Kong joke? That's good.
So he fakes everybody out, and he switches the balls because he knows what this fucker's up to.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? Just throw the ball?
He hits the normal ball at him.
Okay.
And, of course, Cowboy is surprised by it. The joke's even better now that I think about it because Sherman does have red hair. Oh, that's good. Very light red hair, but a red hair. But yeah, now, so he's like, oh yeah, shit, there's smoke. Cowboy bites. Everybody realizes what Jesse's up to. They're giggling their asses off. He turns around and he's like, oh, what's the matter? Did you miss the fire? And then he fucking chucks the ping pong ball at him. Cowboy throws up his paddle. It explodes the paddle, but then in the next scene, the paddle is fine. It's just smoking, and then it's just gone.
Okay, so they're having some fireman fun. Back to the forest fire. Inmates are just throwing logs everywhere.
Literally just
chucking logs.
They're trying to make them look busy, like a chain gang or something, you know? So they're just tossing logs around.
And then Wilkins is talking. He's setting up a distraction. He's talking to one of the guards. And then the plan happens. Everybody starts attacking prison guards.
Yeah, Wilkins is up there. Oh, I'm having a little bit of the dookie. And the guard's like, well, there's
great
anywhere.
outdoors.
You're
Yeah.
in the forest. You're chained up. No,
There's a bear shit in the woods. Well, convict does.
The Pope does, too. And then while this whole distraction's going on, the one guy, it's Packers. Mr. Rogers, Packers here. He goes up to one of the guards. He's like, hey, I'm noticing that we could be a lot more efficient if we just go ahead and get Devontae Adams on our team. And the guard's like, shut the fuck up and get back to what. But that's enough distraction for Shay to go ahead. And he lights up a little. He had matches on him.
Yeah.
What did he light up? Matches?
Yeah, yeah.
Stick match. Lit it up. Good thing. Think the fucking maker of these were light anywheres. He didn't have to have the little strip to go with them. He could just go right down his little inmate clothing.
Right, he's not man enough to do the. It's like only Kojak. Kojak had a move when we do another Kojak tippy tap. He had a special way of lighting his cigarettes with a match.
Oh yeah, he like snapped it or something.
It was a one-handed thing. He could light, and it's like the ones in the match book.
Yeah.
He could light it with one hand.
He could do like a little hand.
There actually is an episode where he uses that as a clue to let Stavros know, like it's him, like he got kidnapped, because someone goes, "That's Kojak's thing."
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't wait to explore more Kojak.
Yeah, it's great.
Comment a feel. If you haven't been listening, you're fucking stupid.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, Shay, with all these distractions going on, tosses a match. It's slowly burning and everything. No one's noticing because they're just looking around.
They're just chucking logs. That's all they're doing.
Chucking logs, and the guards are just.
Why are they cutting logs in the middle of a fucking forest? Are they cutting the trees down and then they're chucking the logs?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that how you stop a forest fire, by just getting rid of the forest?
I mean, I guess you would stop some of the accelerant to get to the other parts.
Well, what you need to do is a backfire, which we'll learn from Jesse later on.
Or rake the leaves.
Excuse
me, rake the ground is the actual term he used. That's what we've been doing wrong. We've been raking the leaves. We should be raking the ground. Anyways, a little fire starts out, and then Mr. Packer says, holy shit, the fire's jumped. That's where we get our panic. That's where we start getting shovels just plowed into the guards' stomachs. They all look like Mike Ditka for a reason. Football.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you said Chicago.
Well, Chicago, but football as well. Because everything has some kind of weird football context in here.
Right.
And that's where we get, obviously everybody's taking over. They're getting their guns and everything. And then Shay gets a moment with Wilkins behind the bus.
Wilkins was talking to a guard that had the map to get out of the forest.
Oh, okay.
So that was his job. So he's hiding behind the bus, and like Shay's like, "Did you get the map?" He's like, "Yeah, I got the map." Good. Boom, and just fucking shoots Wilkins because he's like, "That's $5 million more for me." He's whittling these fuckers down.
So we're starting to see. I mean, we already kind of got the idea of this when he killed off Davis,
right?
But we also thought maybe he just killed Davis so he could be Davis,
right?
But yeah, now we're starting to see like, oh. Maybe he wants a bigger cut of this pie for himself.
Right. Well, he earned it. These guys weren't in on the job. This was his job.
Right. He did.
The train robbery.
I wonder if he had a oh shit, what was our hunter guy? Bill. What was our Bill guy's name? We're gonna figure that out before the end.
Panhandle Pete.
Panhandle Pete.
Yeah.
Maybe Panhandle Pete was on the job with him.
He killed Panhandle Pete.
He probably would have.
So
the other boys show up.
Yeah, and they're like, "What the fuck?" He's like, thankfully there's a dead guard there too. He's like, he got him before I could get.
Shay's doing some great hand-eye acting here. He's just like, "Oh, Wilkins, our sweet baby boy. I showed up just as the guard was killing him. He managed to get the map. He did it for us. He whispered into my ear, get that money for yourselves."
Right. So then I don't. In the notes, it takes place, but this might take place later. But there's a little meeting that Shay has with Loomis. We learned that Loomis was a pilot.
They're just walking around securing the area and everything. Because they got to handcuff all the guards and put them on the bus. Right. So we're in that fog.
So, like, we learned that Loomis was in the military, and that's how he knows how to fly a plane. Because his job was, they were going to escape by plane. So that's Loomis's job.
Right.
So he's just like, yeah, I was in the military. I can fly anything. So that's okay. We just learned that.
We don't need a map. We're going to be flying at night. Like, there's a bunch of shit being thrown around. And he's like, oh, interesting. You don't need a map. We don't need to fly. Okay. Put in the memory banks.
So back to Jesse. He gets that alert that the fire, they need to, it's dangerous. They need to send in the smoke jumpers.
Right. He's learning that, like, it's not going so well. The county crew's not doing that good of a job. Sherman dropped his
They're learning this whole time. They have the satellite feed of the infrared feed of the fires. They're always observing it and looking at it. So they get a call, or they're worried. I think they're worried about Sherman. They want to know what's going on. Because they're like, man, well, I think they're watching the internet feed and they see it's getting close to where Sherman is.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be very controlled.
Right.
And so they call into the prison force and, of course, county force, which Sherman was on. That's why Sherman was placed here for the movie's context. And, yeah, she gets, Shay takes over and gets on the two-way with them. And it's just like, what, the fire? Oh, no, everything's going great.
He says, yeah, it's getting hot in here. We're going to get the fuck out.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like, don't worry. Yeah, we know it's getting hot in here. We're taking off all our clothes. It's 1998. He had to do a Nelly fucking line. But he's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're getting out of here. And she's like, fine, that's great. My buddy Sherman's on that bus. You take care of him.
He already took off all of his clothes. Don't worry. He's a real goof.
He's got the Band-Aid on his fucking...
This guy really loves his Nelly. Wyoming, big Nelly state.
He sells out every time he plays Wyoming.
Every time in Wyoming.
So the cover isn't blown. They're fine, but they chained up. They stripped down four of the forest fighters. That's a tongue twister.
Tongue twister, Murray.
And took their garb.
And guns.
And I think they're Pulaski's.
So here we see that as they start heading out in the woods, because Shay is going to go on an excursion into the woods now, and he's locked up all the prisoners. They can't get to the walkie-talkie or anything. Sherman's in there and all that bullshit. But he makes everybody throw their guns away.
Right. And like Kark's like, what the fuck? We need those guns. He's like, no, we're not, because from here on out, we're Canadian firefighters, and we know those pussies don't have a Second Amendment.
That's exactly right.
So it would look strange having a fucking gun.
That's right. And so we join them down. This is basically turning into Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they leave basically all the other convicts and the guards chained up in the bus. They're going to burn to death. They don't give a fuck.
Fire's roaring behind them and everything. They're taking off. We're going on a Lord of the Rings adventure.
Right. The Fellowship of the Forest Fire.
The Fellowship of the Forest Fire. And we see Tom Bombadil dancing in the background. And
no, we don't. They robbed us of that, too. What's your problem with Tom Bombadil? He's integral to the Lord of the Rings.
The first time I read, is he only in The Hobbit or is he in Lord of the Rings?
No, he's in Lord of the Rings, and he makes no sense. He just pops up in the beginning and disappears. You never hear from him again.
I get that he doesn't make much sense, but I fucking love Tom Bombadil. Have him just...
It's a crazy hippie guy. It's like basically Ian Anderson from...
Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
I know what you're going for.
Yeah.
Why not just have him dancing in the background or something? Anyways.
Well, they can extend it again. They love to add like 15 minutes onto every movie.
We fucked up with the 3 recent movies, and nobody cares about Power of the Rings or whatever. So let's do it and extend it.
You know what? They did put him in Power of the Rings, but he's a chick now. Thanks, woke people. Tom Bombadil doesn't work as a chick. He's clearly a dude. He's clearly got some fucking big dick energy coming off him.
He's got every energy coming off him. That was my favorite part about reading Lord of the Rings.
Really? Tom Bombadil was in it for like 5 pages? Like, I love Tom Bombadil.
I only got through the first book.
Oh, okay.
I never got through 2 and 3.
So, okay.
I know the books are separated a little differently.
It's just 1,000 pages, 600 just, and they're walking, and they go to this make up a word land, and they walk.
Just like in this movie. And how did we fill in our time with this movie? We learned a little bit about
Getting
Karch.
Getting to know all about you.
Former FTW champion Karch.
Former FTW. He was a fuck the world champ?
Yeah, he was.
Wow. And he's like, yeah, I was the mad monk. I shaved my head. I was the Han, because he's like, clearly he's some foreign dude, so he's got to play the foreign heel.
Yeah.
And like,
no, it makes sense.
And Shay's like, well, it's very interesting.
Have you ever wrestled Stone Cold Steve Austin, though? I'm sorry, Chili McFreeze, because they couldn't use Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Never had the pleasure. So they're like, all right, they're looking at the map. There's a trading post here. Let's go there. So it sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Now we cut back to Jen. She's blocked off by the fire. She's also looking at a map. She's like, trading post. We're like, oh my God, we don't want Jen to go to the trading post. That's where the cons are going to go.
And they're convicts. Don't convince her to be confiscated.
Jesse Moose, he's not Moose Knuckle. They retired that name, right? He's Moose Hart.
He's Moose Hart.
He picked up Jesse. Jesse's supposed to be observe and report. He's not supposed to be getting involved.
Right.
But he's Jesse. He's like, I can't not get involved. I'm the hero.
Yeah,
That's why he didn't want Wynn's job. He's like, I got to be in the fire. I got to feel the heat.
He can't be the chief because he needs to be irresponsible sometimes. He needs to get into the action.
And he's like, you seen this cool-ass Durant gun I got? Because it was a fucking Durant gun.
It was cool.
And he's like, watch this. And he starts shooting off those ping pong balls.
Yeah, at first he was like, oh, shit, you see that bald eagle over there? Good thing these things aren't extinct.
I think at the time they were kind of an endangered species.
They were.
But he didn't care.
That was what was kind of weird about this movie. We don't know who our heels are. We don't. Well, we do. Never mind.
So what he's doing it in a line. He's creating a backfire, which we learn is another controlled fire that will suck off some of the oxygen from the forest fire.
Right. So this is a lot of that science we told you. Just go ahead and forget everything you know about forest fires. Because, you got your fucking Anderson Coopers out here talking about forest fire. He doesn't know shit, everybody. Howie Long. He knows about going long. He knows about sacking quarterbacks. He knows about penetrating a offensive line. And he knows about forest fires. Take this lesson to heart. Shoot ping pong fireballs into a fire to prevent a forest fire.
Yeah. So now Wint, they're all hands are on deck. Wint's like he's like, hey, I'm not retired yet. So he shows up.
Right. They called in. Jesse told them to call in Wint. And they were like, wait, can we really call in Wint? Yes.
Right. He's not retired yet. He still has 2 weeks.
Right.
And so Wint immediately goes, what's going on with that fucking prison bus? Call it again, Monica. Monica calls. Nobody's picking up because they're locked up in the back of the bus. And was he a guard? There's some guy who's like, I'm going to take control.
Right, because they're all yelling when they hear Monica on the two-way, or rather on the CB, and they're like, oh, fuck, we're going to get to it. And they're just yelling at it. And someone says, no, she can't hear you. We need to touch the fucking button.
Right.
So somebody does take control, and they're like, hey, who here can pick a lock? And here's a nice gag, Murray, because all the convicts raise their hand.
Yeah, and they do that gag later on, too. Because the guy's like, no, I'm going to do it. Get me a ballpoint pen. Guy just happens to, Bobby Eaton's in the back. He pulls out his duffel bag, throws a fucking a ballpoint pen to him. And the guy's like, no, let me do it. This guy doesn't know what to do at all. We got a bus full of pickpockets and lock pickets.
Lock pickets.
Lock pickers. And
like Kenny Pickens of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's like, I got it. Fucking pushes the thing right through the goddamn keyhole. Fucking idiot. So they're going to burn alive.
But thankfully,
not on Wint's watch.
Wint has been around a block or two, and he's just like, I know when a fucking team is about to pull a trick play on me, and a trick play is about to be pulled on me. Where's that bus? I'm going to it.
So back to the forest. Our Jennifer, our bird photographer, our bird photographer, she bumps into our cons.
Oh, that's good fortune. Wait, did you say the cons?
No.
God damn it. I don't like those people.
Nobody likes convicts. So Shay putting on that best Canadian accent, like, hey there, hey, you hoser, what are you doing out in here, you hoser? Hey, Tim Hortons, Timbits. He's laying it on thick, and it's working.
Right.
And then Loomis doing his fucking worst Griff fucking Canadian accent.
Oh, yes, I would like the double-double. Wait, you're not the Tim Hortons girl.
Well, he starts talking about Starbucks, and we know Canadians don't give a fuck about Starbucks.
No, not at all.
So she's kind of like, yeah, Starbucks. And then she walks away. And he's like, hey, that's a fucking great Canadian accent, you fucking moron. Starbucks!
Are you kidding me? And we see that they're bickering. It's a very funny little bit here, and we kind of zoom out on the whole situation. We see that Jesse's flying overhead. He's still with Moose Hart.
Yeah.
I was so close to saying Moose Knuckle, but I saved myself. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? Are those ground pounders?
Yeah.
Because they stole the county firefighters.
The Canadian firefighters.
Well, they were county, but
Why were they Canadian? Why did it matter?
Just to dissuade everybody else, I guess.
I don't know.
Jesse or Jennifer?
Because wouldn't he be wearing the county's? They're wearing the county's uniforms. Don't they have any marks on them that would distinguish that they're from the county?
I guess not.
Did they establish that there were Canadians on that work crew? Because they said sometimes, Shay says this, I don't know if it's true, they will come down from Alberta.
Yeah.
Is fucking Wyoming on the border with Canada? I thought like Montana was in between.
I thought there's...
they don't teach us geography in America.
No.
We don't even know our own country.
I thought you have like Wisconsin.
If it wasn't the fact that Michigan's shaped like a mitten, I wouldn't know where I fucking live. All right?
This is true. There's so many infuriated people with our U.S. geography knowledge. Because I know there's Michigan. Then there's Illinois. Then above it, there's Wisconsin. And then
Minnesota.
Is it the Dakotas? Oh, it's Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota. And then there's the Dakotas, and then I thought Wyoming did kind of jut up.
I always thought Montana was above Wyoming. I know for a fact Montana has a border with Canada.
Yeah, I thought Wyoming jutted up to it too.
I don't know. I thought it was south of. I don't know.
I thought Wyoming was kind of more rectangle-ish.
Google it.
This is amazing.
So okay, where were we?
We're looking at a map when we're done with this. That's all I can tell you.
Where were we? And I'm totally fine. Oh, yeah. Jesse's like,
ground pounders.
He's like, I got to check out what it's going. Don't jump out of my plane.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get these guys some Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
A real American coffee.
Greatest coffee.
That's
after
right.
Denny's.
Right after Denny's.
So
which is New Orleans based.
And he's just like, 22 skidoo, hut, and then jumps out of the plane.
He has a little bit of a tricky landing, but he does manage to
the
get
parachute catches on a tree.
And there is a moment where Shay's like, oh, fuck, what do I do with this guy? But they just, they're pretending to be firefighters.
Well, you're just bearing the lead. There's this perilous scene where he gets caught up in a tree, and then the parachute gets caught on fire, and then he's just hurtling down this tree.
Yeah, okay.
And he lands, but he's Howie Long, so he's fine, even though he fell like 100 fucking feet.
That's the lead I buried. The scene that you're just like, it's happening.
Yeah. And this is where he meets Shay.
Okay.
And Shay's like, hey there, Ozer, that was really fucking great there. We live near, we've both been to Canada. We share a border. We don't share a border with Canada, but we're near Canada. We have a water border with Canada.
Technically, we do because of the water border.
And hey, I bet you didn't know this, people, but we're actually south. Michigan is south of Canada. Is that the thing they say? Where we're supposed to? Are we north or south? It's supposed to be some kind of like optical illusion type thing.
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm fucking tired.
I'm tired
but
too.
I've never bumped into a Canadian that talked like that until the last time I was in Canada. I was in London, Ontario, Canada, for a concert, and I was speaking with a guy from Labrador, and he had the thickest, most stereotypical A. He did say A. He said
was
that
shit. Fun?
Not really.
I wish I would have gone to that show.
Yeah, you wish you would have. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You had some bullshit. I think it was what's open house, like a school open house. Some fucking person you knew. And I'm like, really, Griff? You're gonna go to some open house, a person you probably don't even talk to since that fucking thing?
I'm sorry, we weren't
you missed. Yeah, you missed out. They broke up. That was like their second to last show ever.
I know. I realize this. I think about it every day.
Well, we weren't as close as we are now. This was even before the show.
Yeah, this was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And if it were different, I would have been there.
All right. So he's covering with all his Tim Horton talk.
He's just throwing around all the best Canadians.
And he's like, well, if you're a Canadian firefighter, why are you going right towards the backfire that I just created? You should know. Like, he's like, so his firefighter senses are tingling.
Right, because Shay is trying to explain it. Howie comes in hard and fucking furious, like fire. And he's like, why are you guys heading this way? Did you not realize that fires travel uphill? Oh, is that the way we were heading? Our Canadian training always tells us to go uphill. Well, your training's wrong. You need to go this way. Is that so? Oh, that's so nice of you, sir. Right. We got some Craver donuts here.
Timbits.
Timbits for you.
You had Timbits are great. Hey, some Canadian bacon, eh?
Thankfully, he did have a
Hey, my name's Bob McKenzie, eh?
Yeah, there we go.
So he's the long-lost Mackenzie brother. So, all right, he's fooled. He's like, all right, let's go to this trading post. Well, then we can call for help. Went arrives at that bus. He does a nice joke where he's like, because obviously the guy fucked the lock up, so he can't open the lock. He's like, anybody you guys know how to hotwire a bus? And they all raise their hands. They're criminals. Of course they do. And they talk him through it, and he hotwires the bus. And he's like, well, we're out of here. And they take off.
Right. So now we're back at Jesse. He's accompanying Shay, the whole crew. And again, they're trying to just be like, oh, shit, we're Canadian. We don't know these necks of the woods. And that's when we arrive at the trading post.
Right. And
Millie wants to come in with the squeaker toy.
Shay takes Karg aside. He's like, think you can handle that guy? He's like, I wrestled Hulk Hogan. I can handle anybody.
I wrestled Danny Spivey.
He looked like Danny Spivey. And he's like, all right. And then, I guess Jennifer overheard that.
There was a nice moment here, too. I want to point this out. You got to point out your thing. I'm pointing out my thing. Because they get to the trading post, and Shay points out, hey, that door's all locked there. How you American skis going to get in there? He's like, I got a Pulaski. He goes, that's amazing. I'm going to buy you a Modelo when we get back out of here.
Is that what that is, tell?
Murray?
Yeah.
What's a Modelo?
It's not a Canadian brew, I know that.
It's a Mexican brew.
The complete opposite of Canada.
Hello? What is this guy thinking? Shay's not as smart as he thought he was.
Yeah. So I think Jennifer picked up on that. She's like, I love a cerveza.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just backhands her. Because this is after the Pulaski break-in. So
so Jesse's out of the picture in the trading post trying to make a call.
And then Karg like goes in. He's like, I'll take care of him. Don't worry. And they grab. Where was this car? I don't know. Why was there a car there? Was it just? It's just always at the trading post.
Apparently, there's a car at the trading post.
There's a car there,
loaded with guns.
Right. So Shay goes. You take care of. He goes to Packer and Loomis. Take care of her. And so they drag her to the car, and they're going to wait for him.
This is where we get to learn that Packard is in the pussy fog.
Right.
Because he is obsessed with the pornographer.
Well,
which
did you call her
ornithologist?
I thought. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought you called her pornographer for
No, birdographer is what I call her.
And, well, it could be sexy bird pictures. I don't know. So I don't know what people are into fucking birds like to get off on.
I mean, people are into toes. Why not bird beaks?
They're into talons?
Maybe talons, yeah.
So, yeah, but he's like, I'm a nice guy. See, I'm a nice guy. You can trust me.
I like birds. I saw a robin once in my yard. Or maybe it was a robin. Might have been a grackle.
I'm going to protect you because I'm a nice guy. And nice guys protect ladies. You don't have nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, we don't know that we kind of cut to the chase. We don't know that he's a rapist. We don't know why he's in prison yet. So we're like, well, he sounds like a nice guy. Why doesn't this fucking bitch fucking respect him?
So Wilkins? No, not Wilkins.
Wilkins is
Loomis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got to remember. These characters are forgettable.
Well, they're disappearing as we go by.
So Loomis and Packard take her to the car.
Right.
And they've got all their guns in there, and she's put in the back seat, whatever.
He's doing the nice guy routine,
right.
you know.
And so now we've got Karj barge on Jesse, who's trying to make a call on one of those old rotary phones with the fucking, like, little...
Yeah, it's a Green Acres type phone.
Yeah. And it just so happens he sees in the reflection of, like, the little bell ringer on the phone, he sees Karj is approaching him.
He's got Karj found. Is this like also like an Eskimo like museum? Yes. Because he has like
outpost.
He has like a I don't know if can I say Eskimo? Is it Inuit? I think is the term.
I think you're supposed to say Inuit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. An Inuit like fucking Pulaski.
Yeah.
And you said he sees the reflection. And he dives right out of the way just in time. The kayak ski goes into the fucking into the phone, and then we're off to the races.
So right away, I thought this fight ends because Jesse, of course, sees him, manages to tackle him. He tackles him through a fucking structural post. The roof caves in. There's shit piling down on him, but this fight continues, and Jesse continues to handle it until he doesn't. So Karj does get his shit in. He starts fucking rope-a-doping him
He
all
literally
over the place.
cuts a promo on him.
He did.
He does it. I'm the executioner. And he knocks out Jesse. He's like, still undefeated. And then he just walks off. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Shay's like, you know what? I don't think I want to give Karg his cut of the money. So there's a gas pump out there.
Yeah.
He just starts pouring it all on the outside of the trading post.
There's just little diamond windows. He's poking them through, pouring gas in.
Pouring gas in. He blocked the door so that nobody can get out.
With a giant staghorn, like fucking antler through it. It just so happened that it could fit that. And then he's putting a chain on it as well. But yeah, he's putting the gas pump in there. Of course, all of our gas pumps have that little trigger so you can.
He puts
hold
in.
It in.
They didn't show it over $800 worth of gas.
Yeah, they did.
That's a lot. Gas was probably about $2.20 in '98.
Yeah, in Wyoming, it was more expensive because it's hard to get gas to Wyoming,
especially in the middle of an outpost.
Exactly.
Maybe it was fucking $100 a gallon.
It might have been. Biden's America.
So, yeah, he's just pouring it in, and, like, Karg takes care of Jesse. He's ready to leave. He's like, hey, what the fuck? Why is the door closed? And then he just go boom, 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 and just shoots Karg through the door. It's like, because I want your cut. So then he goes to the car that they're keeping Jennifer in.
Right. Jennifer, of course, at this point is trying to make her own escape. And she snatches a gun, and she's holding them.
With a seatbelt.
Yeah.
She, like, loops the Loomis's gun, yanks it.
Oh, that's right.
And then Loomis is like, he's got the clips, like, you think you need this? You want this?
You want this?
And then Packer's like, see, I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't even pull a gun on you. Can you be my girlfriend? And then, what's his face? Shay gets in the car. He's like, oh, I hate to tell you this, but your little boyfriend there, he is a serial rapist. Hey, man, they said it was because of my imbalance, my chemical imbalances. I'm a nice guy. So they take off, and they're like, what happened to Karg? And he's like, oh, he decided to stay.
Yeah, and we're thinking that, of course, but Jesse died in the fire, but we see him riding out on a dirt bike.
Yeah, he notices a dirt bike in the middle. They have everything at this trading post. This is like a Walmart. And he just magically bursts out. They don't show him escaping. You just see, from behind, a dirt bike leaping out. What's up with that?
It's exactly what it needed to be. And we head over from the rape car over to Monica and headquarters, and she notices that there's some missed calls and there's some wonky stuff happening. She's got that. Right next to her AOL Instant Messenger, where she's catfishing people. She's noticing that there's some shit happening. Big old fire, missed calls.
Well, she gets the missed call from the trading post, and that sets off her firefighter sense. And then she looks over at the satellite feed where they're watching the fires.
Where would there be a phone in the forest? The trading post.
And then she's like, well, why is there a raging inferno at the trading post? That's strange because the fire's not even anywhere near there.
Yeah.
That's very strange. And while she's saying that, Wint shows up and he's like, hey, there was a prison break. There's some convicts loose in the forest. So, all right. They know everything that's going on.
He was watching the TV where they had an interview with that lawyer that... Are we just going to put this together? Was Wint talking to the lawyer at the beginning of the movie?
Yes, that's what was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all coming together. Was he the guy who showed up and started the fire in D12?
Wait, we just gave away the whole... We should have held that to the end because we don't find out Wint's crooked until the end.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, I just... They were putting it together with the context clues we had just now. Anyways.
Yeah.
People will remember this episode.
People aren't going to listen to this episode.
There we go.
Don't worry about it. So, yes. So now we see we're back to the rape truck, and there's a tree over the path that they were driving through. And they're like, what the fuck?
Oh, wow. Yeah, they were riding with a head of steam, and suddenly a tree fell on them.
Right.
And they get out to check it out, and they're like, that's a clean-cut tree.
Perfectly cut.
There's no way. And then suddenly Jesse, bow, with like a fucking bubble screen to
well,
a
he
running
screamed,
back.
"Are you ready for some football?" And then,
a Monday night party.
And then he grabs Jennifer, throws her on the back, and they takes off. And they okay, they're blocked. Did they pick the tree up and move it? How did they get going?
They just turned around.
Well, because what happened is...
Because now they're chasing after them.
Yeah, Jesse's like, don't worry, they're blocked. They're not going to catch up with us. As soon as he says that, they just... all of a sudden, they're going off-road. They're like...
It was like Commando, where it just suddenly come plowing through the forest and everything. They're right on their heels. And, Jesse, being the action star that he is, he's like, I can't fucking do this. I got to ride bitch. And so she climbs over him. There's a nice shot of Howie Long looking directly into this woman's butt, and he makes kind of like a face. Like a...
He's a tit man, I guess.
I guess.
Or he's a shrimper. We don't know.
I don't know what Jesse is into. Maybe he went full method.
I don't know, but yeah, they trade places, and he's got his little satchel with him on the motorbike, and he pulls out his chainsaw. And if you ever use a chainsaw, they're the easiest thing to start. Just one pull, one-handed pull. He's not even holding it with his other hand. He just pulls the fucking cord, starts right up. And if you ever use a chainsaw, which I have used a chainsaw before, you don't need a trigger. They just run. They just run. So he
hopes, dreams, all in the trigger.
And he just hurls it behind his back. It goes right through the windshield. But what a waste of a kill. Like, it should have killed Loomis. Was this a PG-13 movie? That's probably why.
It might have been.
Yeah.
That's the only way this makes sense. This is really stupid. This is it could have been a really cool scene. It should have crashed through the windshield. It should have fucking chomped someone the fuck up.
Right. At least trim some of that frosted tips off.
There we go. And so this is where we see Jesse continue. He's bought himself a few moments here, and he's like, shit. He gets to a dead end. It's all fire. There's no way out now. So he's like, well, there is this one way. And we follow them, and they jump off a cliff.
He just pulled a parachute out of his ass. All of a sudden, he has a parachute strapped to him.
Smoke jumpers.
Always prepared.
It's a suppository.
And so he pulls the fucking chute that he pulled out of his ass, and they're struggling. She's literally hanging on his dick in one scene. She's like hanging by his dick.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on. And then I guess the jizz made it slippery. She fucking falls into the rapids like 1,000 feet, but she's all right.
So she falls off, like you said, into the rapids. Jesse's still kind of descending, and this is where we hear that, oh, I hate water.
This is his Indiana Jones moment.
Oh.
Water. Why did it have to be water? And he falls in the water. His shoe gets trapped on like a tree that's fallen in there. He's like drowning. She's just trying to get this pack of her own. Like she got snagged on something. He's like, thanks for doing that while I'm drowning. Because if we learned anything from movies, people, you must always have tension with a woman. There always supposed to be a little bit of animosity with a woman, or it's not real. It's not a real love.
Think about it. Yeah, I mean, you just said it right there. It's not a real love unless you hate him first, because you got to hate to love.
Right.
And so he's starting it off just right. He's hating her, but
she's not even paying attention to him. I think he pulls himself out.
Yeah.
And then she's like looking at something. He's like, what are you looking at? And he looks over his shoulder. She's got a little case with little...
It better be something like life and death if you weren't willing to help me out. You know, like something like Senacita Stellari. And she turns... What? And he hands her the lid back, and it says it on it.
Right. It's bird eggs, people. Rare bird eggs. The last 2 bird eggs of this breed.
And we're about
that
to
was
learn.
A very Captain America thing. Remember, like he was talking about how about the Cryptozippodoidaloid? Remember, he was talking about beetles. Remember that?
I don't.
Red Brown's Captain America.
Red Brown's, really?
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
So then she's like, you know birds? And like, no, he just read off the fucking lid.
So we do get to learn a little bit here why they're chasing her. Because she learned of their escape plan.
Now they tried the planes. There are no trains. Train robbery. And fuck automobiles. It's going to be a boat. Because they're on a river. Like, yeah, they're next. Apparently, Shay has got everything covered. First, they were going to leave by a plane. And he's like, oh, that fucked up. Don't worry, I got a boat back up 6 miles down this river.
Right.
So, because they're up on the cliff top shooting at him. He's like, why the fuck do they care? Why don't they just get the fuck away? She's like, I know their plan.
Yeah, they gotta kill me because they'll know where I'm going. So now we're following back along with Shay. He's got, of course, Loomis and Packard with him. Right. And they're walking along a real cliffy face here. So there's not the greatest footholds. Packard's just going ahead like, hey, guys, I think I see some berries over there. And then suddenly Loomis just shouts out, ah!
Well, yeah, because Shay doesn't need him anymore because he's a pilot. Now he's got a boat. He doesn't need it. So he's like, another $5 million from me. Yoink.
Packard turns around. What the fuck happened to him? Oh, he was trying to take a photo of this... Senacata Stellari over here, and he slipped.
So Jesse, he did not come away unscathed from this. By the way, he got shot. No, he gets shot later. But so he
this is Rocky Landing.
He dislocated his knee, I think is what it is. So he's limping.
ACL. It's football.
And she's like, you pussy, like, I can fix that. He's like, well, what the fuck? Because they make a little lean-to. Like, she's a master of, like, hiding and shit. Because she has to be, so these birds don't see her.
Right.
So they're hiding in this little lean-to they make, camouflaged. And she's like, oh, you pussy, I can handle it. He's like, whoa, wait a minute.
You're an ornithologist.
Ornithologist.
How do you know about setting legs?
And she's like, she could have just said, this is 98. I was in the Marine Corps. No, she's got to be, well, my daddy was in the Marine Corps. Of course, he wanted boys, but he had 3 girls. So how many fucking movies have you done where this scene happens?
1,000. Why was Hollywood so against the idea of a girl joining like a military force?
Well, you know what fixed that? G.I. Jane.
Thank you.
Thank you, Demi Moore.
I'm saluting right now, everybody, for the audience that can't see me. I'm saluting.
And it's not listening, probably, because we're not on iTunes.
That's right.
2 weeks later. So, yeah, and she just goes, ugh, she just pops it. He's like, don't do it, wait. And then he's like, those are my money makers. Pops it back in, and he's fine.
So,
Which no. If you dislocate, I mean, yeah, you got to pop it back in, but you're not as good as my sister dislocated her kneecap in high school, and she still had to be on crutches for a few days after they did that.
Well, she's not the man that Howie Long.
Well, she's not, because she had to actually get her knee replaced like about 20 years later.
There you go.
Yeah.
So while they're just kind of hiding out there, staying quiet, they watch as Shay walks by, and they're literally watching him walk by. And then Shay gets, 200 feet away, maybe like a football field away. And then he goes, wait a minute. And they turn around and they go back, and he just uncovers the little hideaway they had. And he sees just his little yellow firefighter coat.
That Jennifer told him to get rid of because they're trying to hide.
Yep. And it's just a little smile with rocks waiting for him. So clever.
So now they're a little bit of ways from. They're about, I'd say, about 300 yards, give or take a yard. It's third down.
It's third down.
Third and long, and Jesse's like, look, He's like, you know how to start a fire? He's like, yeah, I think so. I just explained to you.
Do you know how to start a fire with nothing but rocks?
Yeah. She's like, yeah, my daddy taught me that.
Yeah.
So he's like, getting nothing. Of course, she's got an inferno, and then she's like pulls out a Zippo.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It was cute. Anyways, we're going back to headquarters. Sure enough, Monica sees the arrows on her fucking satellite
because they made
radar.
a series of fires to make a giant arrow that you could see from a satellite.
Yep.
So now they got them. They know exactly what direction they're going. Obviously, follow the arrow.
And then, of course, Wint, he's got the weather station up all the time because he's old enough. Where
he's an old man. All they care about is the weather.
All they care about is the weather. And he's just like, cold front. Oh, my God, Billy Joel taught me about this one. There's a cold front coming. Firestorm's forming.
But the irony, Griff, is he did start the fire.
Oh, my.
Did that Billy Joel line? But
that is Andy Kaufman level comedy that just happened right there.
There you go.
And it's not in our notes.
And no one's listening to it because of fucking SoundCloud and Apple.
And Spotify.
Yeah. Where you can hear us on Spotify.
What's that?
They're hearing us on Spotify, I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
Oh.
You said no one's hearing us, but SoundCloud.
I said no one's hearing us because of SoundCloud and Apple.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Every other app, you can hear us.
SoundCloud,
try that.
fine. Yeah.
The problem is if you Google Golan-Globus Theater, Apple's the first thing that pops up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of course.
That's why I listen to Cornet on Apple, because that's the first thing that pops up.
Really?
Yeah.
You still don't have an app on your phone? Or
I
anything
don't listen to it. I listen to it on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, just to let you know how I listen to podcasts, I only listen to one. And I can barely get through that. It's too damn long.
It's so long. That's why you got to have it on something handheld.
So, yeah, and then he's like, because, all right, they're in the middle between the forest fire in D12 and the backfire that Jesse did. If a cold front comes in, the fires will be, so much oxygen will be put in there, the fires will collide and start a firestorm.
Firestorm.
So and he's like, even if they make it to the lake, they're goners.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Right. So now Jesse's thinking, he's like, oh shit, this sounds familiar, this situation. It's a MacGyver episode. I don't have anything. I used all my matches. I don't have any rocks anymore. What do you have in your pack? And she, of course, comes up. I've got some dental floss, and I've got this little toothpick mounting. Everything she had was
mask.
Yeah, everything she had was dental associated, which was weird. I didn't think MacGyver would travel that way, but she's like, I got all these things, and Jesse goes, that'll do it. Next.
All right. So now the trap is being set. So Packer and Shay stumble on Jen. Why is she out there? Because she's the bait.
She's the bait.
So she starts faking like she's stumbling. Oh, whatever you do, don't come in this area where I'm at.
Please.
And then, of course, Packer he's in the fog.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fog.
Right.
And he's in it.
And we see that Shay is just kind of stopping and doing his best fucking J.J. Dillon and just thinking. He takes his glasses off and puts them to his mouth. He's like, this doesn't seem right. But Packard, way up in that fog.
He's in the ether fog.
He's in the knee-deep fog.
Yeah, he's in the ether sphere.
Yeah, it could have been water. He's traversing it. It could have been the sky. He's traversing it.
And he's like, give me that. And then he walks right in the old trap, I don't know what they call it, but you see it in fucking like cartoons and shit
rabbit
all the time.
snare or whatever.
Grabs your leg, drags you up, but it's like Jesse's on like the other side, counterweight, so he's pulling him up.
Yeah.
And then Shay just starts shooting.
Shay started shooting, then he calmed down. But Packer can't calm down, so he's just shooting everything. Right. And Shay's telling him, stop shooting. And we actually do see in this scene, not us.
Well, Packer tells him to stop shooting because he's like, he's the counterweight. I'll fucking splatter my head.
That's what he was. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the area is filling in with fog now. Because we're seeing Packer's fog. Now that he's about to die, his fog's just filling the whole area. And it's becoming a whole mess.
So he shoots. Shay shoots at Jesse, shoots him, grazes his bicep.
Yep.
So he lets go of the rope, and then Packer starts falling, and he just lucky enough stops right like 6 inches above the ground. He's like, "What the fuck, Shay? I told you."
That's another callback to Sherman.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then Shay's like, "You know what? Why am I going to give a cut to a fucking rapist like you?" And just unloads on fucking Packer. He's got some like standards.
Yeah, he spit in his face and then shot him. And then it just so happened that Jesse ran off without Jennifer. So Shay's got Jennifer with him. Exactly what she wanted.
Yeah. Now Wint, he calls up Moose, not Knuckle, and he's like, "Get me into D12. I got to save my buddy." And he's like, "You can't jump." "Well, I'm going to jump this. I hate when people jump out of my chopper." And he's like, "Well, learn to live with it, Moose Knuckle." Dives out. Apparently he can jump. Why is he retiring? He did a perfect landing.
So he immediately meets up with Jesse. There's a little bit of a jump scare here.
Right.
And they're right on like the riverfront. There's some docks and everything. Jesse's hiding behind some boats, and Wint scares him. And he starts confessing. Yeah.
Well, no, what happens is...
What happens?
Jesse's like, "Why did you bring up D12 early?" And then there's a fire. It's a little too coincidental.
Oh, okay. So
Wint was Predator level coincidental.
Wint wasn't even Wint wasn't.
He
even,
did wince, yeah, but no.
Wint wasn't even able to confess up to it. Right. Jesse hammered him on it.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, well, I haven't worked in a fucking year. I just needed some money. I know what I'm doing. I knew it was gonna be controlled burn."
Isn't that the most perfect encapsulation of the American lifestyle? We're not able to make enough money to retire. This guy is easily 74. Yeah. He's been working his entire life, and he doesn't have enough money to retire on after one fucking year, so he had to sell out to make a little bit of bread.
Right. And Jesse understands. He's like, "All right, well, we'll hatch this out later. Let's rescue this woman right now."
Right.
So now Shay, he's on a dock. He's holding a gun to Jennifer's head. Wint, he's like, he feels bad to letting down Jesse. Jesse's like a son to him.
Jesse's trying to formulate this great plan. He's like, "I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do this." But Wint decides, he's like, "No, I'm going full Barry Sanders on this one. Right. I'm gonna carry the team."
And he fucks up because he confronts Shay
face to face.
And Shay, they exchange fire. Shay shoots Wint.
Yeah.
And then Wint just dies. That's it. That's the last scene of Wint.
We don't even get to see like a tragic. We don't get to see Jesse come over and like hold his hat. No. Wint is just gone.
Yeah. Wint gone. So Jennifer, she starts fighting with Shay. Shay throws her in a boat that he's going to use to escape.
Yeah. And he's thinking about shooting into the boat because she's such an annoying gnat. But then he's like, "That's my escape boat. I probably shouldn't shoot at." And then Jesse pops out of the water. And look, if you were an adult in 1998, you probably saw this scene in the trailer and the commercials. Because this is how I remember it. Pops out of the water and throws that Pulaski.
This is the scene that inspired all those bars to have the axe throwing thing. No.
That's it.
And he hurls it.
You got one real close to you.
Yeah. And there's a bowling alley in Waterford that
Fouling?
has...
Or is it bowling?
It's bowling.
Okay.
And he gets him dead right in the chest. He knows his Pulaski's.
So, William Forsythe's dead.
Of course he's dead. Who could survive a double axe handle to the heart?
It didn't pass through him.
No,
it's just lodged in his chest.
Yeah,
he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, if he went through him, he'd still be alive.
He's dead. Anyway,
he's struggling in the water. He's like, "Will you pick me up?" Because she's going in a circle in this fucking boat. He picks her up.
Of course, that firestorm is forming. The cold fronts are White Water's running.
We get some of the worst, even for 90s standard, the worst CGI of a rapidly approaching fire. It looks like a fucking cartoon.
And so they're hiding. They flipped over the boat. They're hiding under it.
Right.
Jesse's explaining we need to keep oxygen in here. We need to do whatever. He has to kick out the engine.
Right, because all the other boat engines are exploding from the heat.
And so he kicks out the engine because we know 300 degrees for a tree to explode, 500 degrees for a rock to explode, 600 degrees, an engine explodes, and it's an A-bomb.
Right.
And so he kicks off the engine, and we see it float to the ground, and all we see down there, Pulaski.
Yeah, with no shay attached.
No shays attached.
Because, like Jason, he just emerges from on the water, and he starts fighting with Jesse.
So fucking stupid. So they start fighting, and then fighting in water sucks. Yeah. Because all your movements are limited and everything. You can do like a chokehold. They don't do that here. What they do is Shay, after suffering a fucking major injury, pushes down Howie Long, ex-football player, just throws him to the ground of this river. Yeah. And he goes down there. And then we're like, oh, this is awful. And he starts getting, Shay starts getting fresh with Jennifer and everything. And he's like, we're going to survive this. And then I'm going to use you as hostage. But then, like a fucking storming torpedo, like a Bo Thermos thrusting through the offensive line.
Bo Thermos? What the fuck is that?
That's a 1998 Buffalo Bill running back.
Thurman Thomas.
God damn it.
Are you thinking Bo Jackson? What are you thinking?
I combined them. Oh. Thurman Thomas is who I meant.
Thurman Thomas.
Did you know that was my Tecmo Super Bowl team, Buffalo Bills? We're kindred spirits. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. So, yeah, like Thurman Thomas, power back. He wasn't like elusive like Barry was.
No, exactly. Plows through.
Almost like Popeye, kind of spun his arm, made it like a
he
propeller.
Did.
Punches up. He puts them away. Punches Shay through the bottom. You think this was if I guess if an axe can't kill him, pushing his head through the bottom of a boat, which are pretty solid, I've heard.
Yeah.
There's a firestorm, remember, going on up above. So he does his best Ghost Rider impression. His skull is engulfed in flames. And then this was nice. The body flops down. It's like the end of a cigarette is his fucking head, basically, just ashes.
Yeah.
And then, thankfully, that fucking cold November rain comes in, and it just puts out the fires. This was like this was a towering inferno.
Yeah.
And it's immediately put out by some rain.
If we had real production right now, there would be so many good points where we'd have Billy Joel's Stormfront coming, White Water Run music playing. We would have November Rain playing. Like, there's so many good moments we would definitely have Prodigy's Firestarter playing.
Yeah, but we don't want to get flagged on YouTube 3 years from now.
Oh, no, we already
puts
will.
This up. Oh. But
I have to remove every opening track if we ever want to be on YouTube without copyright infringement.
Okay.
But I don't.
So the rain comes in. This is the end. They get to land. She's forgotten about Jesse. She's like, what about those birds? Those birds.
Yeah.
Opens it up. The little babies have hatched.
Yeah, they hatched.
And he's like, wow, those are repulsive. Those little nasty little critters.
I guess I'm going to have to learn to love them. And you'll have to learn to love me, you big lug.
Okay, we've established the rain put out the fire. Why are the smoke jumpers now coming in at the very end?
They're coming to save him.
I think they were just going to do they were going to spell, like make a heart. They're going to hold each other's hands and make a heart in the parachute.
What do they call that? Consensual swimming or something?
Synchronized swimming.
Consensual
sex, synchronized swimming. And wouldn't you know it, I don't know why.
Who won the pony?
I don't know why, because we're still in the same 24-hour period. Somehow Sherman got promoted to fucking smoke one day on the ground and pound crew.
That's it.
But he fucks it up because he drops his Pulaski, almost murders Jesse again.
Lands at his feet, long-term story booking here, and he looks up and he's just like, oh, Polanski.
Oh, Sherman.
Oh, Sherman, excuse me.
There you have it.
What was supposed to be a short episode, but our hate took it a little longer.
Yeah, so, I enjoy that unless you're on Apple.
Yeah. Hopefully fucking ours, SoundCloud and iTunes get this shit worked out, or I can find some alternative.
You motherfuckers. The people who don't follow us on Twitter need to fucking hear these episodes, and they don't care enough to investigate at all.
Right.
So do it, SoundCloud. All right, I'm almost hesitant. By the way, I don't even know. We might hold on to episodes, but if it gets figured out, look for another edition in our Cop and a Feel series this Sunday. It's going to be a good one. It's one of Griff's favorites. I'm kind of pissed because these episodes are pretty long.
They're tough on the notes.
Well, because they're 90-minute episodes. I like a nice usually, 42.
Yeah. I do too. No, we're doing a longer form again. We're doing.
But we're gonna have fun. We're having a buddy of ours, a fellow Michigander. That's all I'm gonna say. Look for that, and then next week we're gonna do Griff. We're an 80s action. That was supposed to be originally the idea behind Golan-Globus Theater, an 80s action movie podcast with occasionally dips into there. We haven't done an 80s movie in forever. Last month was all 70s. I think almost all your month was 90s. So we got to go back to our fucking roots, an 80s movie with my childhood hero. Because I don't think we've done an episode with him except our birthday episode a year and a half ago with Joe Coleman, I think was the last.
You got to save these big moments.
Well, this isn't a big movie. In fact, I remember seeing this movie and not really particularly liking it when I was a kid.
I think I know what movie you're talking about.
So I'm hoping as an adult maybe I can appreciate it more. Because this is one of the lesser-known ones from Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is a little movie called Raw Deal, which we've been getting for the past fucking week of Raw Deal.
That's right.
So it fits the premise of the show right now.
We're supposed to be over our hate week, and we're going to be doing Raw Deal, which you are not going to like. I've seen this movie recently. So.
Well, we still got to do it because of Schwarzenegger.
Hey, that's what this show's all about.
And what can be better than Schwarzenegger with his German accent going undercover in the mafia?
I don't know.
It fits right in. We'll get a body.
I'm sure we probably should have saved it for our birthday month because there's a big birthday cake reveal in this movie.
Oh, fuck. I hadn't seen it in 35 years. So it'll be like I'll see it with fresh eyes. Maybe I'll appreciate it. Kolchak with a mustache. All right? How can you go wrong with that?
How?
So somebody, Griff, send some smoke signals to the people who don't follow us on Twitter to let them know we're not on Apple.
No.
But you still need to listen. You can every fucking tweet, I put the link to our SoundCloud. You can always listen on SoundCloud.
Yep.
Do that. See you next week. Keep it warm.